Looks like we got a new friend!
Oh, hi, you guys, and welcome to tonight's show. I am Scraticus, and this is my channel. If you guys are here for the first time, here in chat are my social links. There's my Discord, my Twitter, and my YouTube. Twitter for if you want to get in contact with me and get a game on the channel. Discord if you want to be part of an amazing, inclusive, family-filled community, and or add to our Wild Magic Surge table. I was going to put some things on the thing, actually, and I forgot to do it. I'll do that in a second. And lastly, but most certainly not leastly, here is my merch. And we are currently running a competition. And at the moment, every 10 retweets, we are doing something slightly different. But here is the tweet. So that is for you guys. I think, do you know what? That seems like the quickest thing ever. But, yeah, let's go and, let's unmute myself. So that I can say to our players, let's go and get today's players. And players, you are live. Oh, hi.
Hi.
Hello.
I am a player.
So today we welcome Eric as our is it Dungeon Master in Mouse Guard?
Game Master.
Game Master. Okay.
Mouse Lord.
Mouse Lord. That's
Mouse Master.
That's
Master of the mice. Maestro? Maestro?
Ma-
Maestro.
Maustro. Oh,
Maestro.
Maustro.
I'm your Maustro. Hi,
So-
everybody.
We welcome our Maestro Eric. Now, Maestro, would you prefer to go around and get introductions first, or would you like to set a scene first and we introduce our characters to it? Up to you.
No, I'd rather let's do some introductions as players and stuff first, and then we go in as characters.
Excellent. So we'll just go clockwise or anti-clockwise around the screen, and we'll start with me. Hi, I'm Scraticus. Next, we have Alicia, NNG98. Oh, hi.
Hi, I'm Energy 9 or 98, depending. And I'm Rockford.
Great to have you along. Thank you. Next around, we have Animus Panthera, or as we know her, Eris. Oh, hi.
Hello, I'm Eris, occasional streamer, mostly cosplayer, Twitter hunter. Excited to play Mouse Guard for the first time.
Awesome
Yeah.
sauce. And last but most certainly not least, we welcome Margaret Crone. Oh, hi.
Hi. I'm Margaret Crone. You might know me from various things. I work at NCSoft where I manage all of their video and media content, and you can check that stuff out over there. And I also do lots of streaming. I'm in like 7 to 8 campaigns a week. So if you're interested in lots of different tabletop RPGs, you should come check it out. I also play lots of video games and upload every single day. So yeah, I don't know what else to say. That's all I got.
Yeah, putting in the hours. Nice. So, Eric.
I don't always look
Yeah.
like this either. This isn't
Nice.
how I normally look.
Nice. Every time I've seen Maggie on stream, she looks like this. Every time.
I agree. Yeah. So yeah, I'm Eric. I'm Eric Vulgaris everywhere. I'm also a streamer, role-playing game. Just can't get enough of it. And I also work for Roll20, and I will be your maestro tonight. So now I'm going to kind of like set the scene a little bit about how I want to like start in this game. For those who don't know, we're playing Mouse Guard 2nd Edition. Mouse Guard is a game that's been out for almost 10 years now. It's based on the comics by David Peterson, and a lot of the game design stuff is based on Luke Crane's work. So if it falls under the family, the genus, if you would, of Burning Wheel style games. So what can you expect from that? You can expect dice pools. You can expect characters fighting for what they believe. And in this time, you can also expect cute little mouse ranger heroes. So quick 20,000 foot level about what Mouse Guard is. If you've never seen it or never seen the comic and you don't want to leave the screen and go Google, I totally understand. It's awesome. I know our faces are so attractive. It is basically like medieval faux, like European style fantasy where we're all mice. Mice have a language they speak and everything like that. And basically we play rangers who have to go in between the various independent cities of the territories to make sure the mail gets delivered, make sure people don't get stuck or animals don't just wake up from their burrows and try to eat everyone. So we do that. The most notable thing, we have cool cloaks and stuff, as well as maintain what's called the scent border to keep other large nasty animals away. And we do all this stuff and deal with a lot of problems, internal and external, for the good of everyone else. And yeah, so I'm going to, you know what? No, it'd be more fun. I would like a volunteer from one of the four of you. I have a handout here, and it's called the Guard's Oath. And I would like somebody here to recite the Guard's Oath for us at the start of the session.
I would totally do that.
Who volunteers?
I would totally do it. Or anybody was. We can roll. Let's leave it up to RNGesus.
Yes.
Okay.
What are we rolling?
So we got we have four people, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to do it in order of clock. Yeah. Scraticus, Margaret, let's see, Eris, and then Alicia. Let's do it that way. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go, Margaret. RNG is decided.
It is fate.
Yeah.
Now I'm looking for it. Where's the handout?
It's at the very top.
Oh, the Guard's Oath. It's at the
Oath.
top. Okay. Do you want me to read it right now or like
now?
later?
Oh yeah, do it now.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna read it in a voice. There you go.
Do it.
Okay. We as Guard offer all that we are to protect the Oh my God, I can't even read because it's so tiny. Sanctity of our species, the freedom of our kin, and the honor of our ancestors. With knowledge, sword, and shield, we do these deeds, never putting a lone mouse above the needs of all, or the desire of self above another. We strive for no less than to serve the greatest good.
Yeah, awesome. And I just copied and pasted in chat too, so we can. It's super good. That is the oath that all mice must take to join the Mouse Guard. That is.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Yeah, it's important. And what's also important is that our mission and how we should get started here for everybody. And I have a chance. Oh, we're going to do a little bit of background here, a little bit to get us set up. And then I'm going to ask a scene from all of you to help describe your character in this way. Because, it's never really so much fun to just do the whole, like, tell me about your character. I'll give you some context. Okay. So this is episode 1. First mission, last rites. It is the dawn of the year 1153. And it's not been kind to the territories, the Guard, or your patrol. Your patrol leaders passed away a few days ago. Near the end, she said her dying wish was to be buried in Caligaro by the shore under a willow, and her cloak given to a young mouse by the name of Cole. Now, I'm going to describe a couple things here, and I'm going to ask one person to step forward and volunteer to answer this and choose from these 3 options that I'm going to give from a menu, kind of like how we did our nature stuff in character creation. I'm going to nominate Scraticus first because it's your show, and I guess you get first honor. Okay. So our patrol leader, she was A, mortally wounded by Sharazahad the Dreadful, a legendary owl, last fall, and finally succumbed to her wounds. B, was tragically slain, intervening between 2 hot-headed tenderpaws, dueling over something petty, perhaps whose hometown was better? Or C, she was claimed by winter and her cold embrace after delivering much-needed emergency supplies to the town of Doragift. Which of those 3 would reflect our patrol leader? and how they passed.
I think it's going to be B. The squabble between two tenderpaws.
Yep. Cool. Awesome. Would you please nominate another player for the next part?
I would like to nominate Alicia.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Alicia. She came from Copperwood and A, never missed a chance to share and reminisce about the city's beauty, especially in autumn. B, she came from Copperwood, but her heart belonged to the territories, never desiring to linger in one place for too long. Or C, she came from Copperwood, but found her home by the shores near Caligero and planned to retire there.
I think it's C, considering
Yeah.
that's where she wants to be buried.
Okay.
What was the name of that again?
Copperwood.
Copperwood. Okay.
Yes. Cool. Alicia, would you nominate?
I nominate Ars.
All right. Ars, during the spring celebration of Vernal Star last year, your patrol leader, A, had you work through the holiday on the scent border. After all, duty doesn't rest. B, during the celebration of Vernal Star last year, your patrol leader let you pass the night drinking and spinning stories in a warm tavern in Spruce Tuck. It's good to remind yourself what you fight for. Or C, during Vernal Star, your patrol leader and all of you were sick and recovering from a long trek pathfinding in the spring for merchants. The guard is only as strong as our health. Which of those three do you think it is?
I am going to say B, because our patrol leader seems like the kind who values a good life if she wanted so badly to retire, in a beautiful place.
Okay. Cool.
You repeat B again, just so we have it.
Yes. During Vernal Star festival, she let you pass the night drinking and spinning stories in a warm tavern in Spruce Tuck. And her motto would be, "It's good to remind yourself what you fight for." Being among the people and stuff. So have you. Cool. Then I guess it's going to be Margaret with the unenvious task. Last summer, you had to make a hard choice. You and your patrol leader fought alongside another patrol by the name of Daryl's Dawnflowers in order to take down a worthy foe. You tracked the legendary snake Fangrot back to its lair. But waiting for you was Fangrot and its two eldest young. In the fight, the two patrols worked side by side to slay the two young snakes, but in the end, Fangrot escaped and Daryl died. The Dawnflowers have never forgiven you nor forgotten the death of Daryl. And now here are your three options. A, after the Weasel Wars, your patrol leader learned the wisdom of caution. She saw the trap waiting for Daryl, but Daryl charged fearlessly headlong and her warnings fell on deaf ears. B, scraped up, your patrol leader fought to push the advantage and pursue the fleeing Fangrot. Daryl was more seriously wounded, but your patrol leader is a force of personality. She was her inspirational cries rallied you and Daryl and the Dawnflowers, and in the daring pursuit, Daryl couldn't go any further. Fangrot's poison claimed him. Or the last one, C. Daryl's fighting and pushing for the advantage against Fangrot. "She's escaping," he cries out. But your patrol leader demands that him and everyone stay back and be wary of Fangrot's poison. Daryl chased down Fangrot nonetheless, as your patrol leader ordered you all to fall back and ensure the wounded were given plenty of antidote to Fangrot's venom. Which of the three do you think embodies the fallen patrol leader?
I think after what everyone else has said, the first one seems most like her. Even though I really like the idea of the other two because I like drama. I'm an
Cool.
evil GM.
Yeah.
But I think the first one
Okay.
makes the most sense. Like she seems
All right.
like a good patrol leader.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Awesome.
Like she would tell him to stop.
Yeah. Cool. Everybody can mark an enemy on your sheet of the Dawn Flowers. The Dawn Flowers view your caution as cowardice and as much as the snake and what the factors of the death of Daryl. So awesome. Okay. So with that all out of the way, now we have some context about who we're going to be mourning for the first part of this game here. So our story begins in Lockhaven, a little bit right after the sort of funeral procession stuff for the patrol leader. By the way, this is for anybody. I don't want to keep saying patrol leader. What is her name?
First one's come up with a mouse pun. I know we're all thinking it.
No, she's a patrol leader. So remember, she's a patrol leader. She's kind-hearted. Seems like the leader role model you kind of want. Had leadership potential written all over her, promotion potential, but she wanted to retire, down to earth, from Copperwood. What do you think her name is? Daisy? Okay, Daisy. Awesome. So you've all gathered, and this is after the time of saying their respects for Daisy. The guard has given her a burial or a funerary services of just the highest honors. Gwendolyn, the matriarch of the leader of all of Mouse Guard, has personally spoke at the funeral. And so I think at that point, I think I kind of want to ask everybody to have we have a quick little flashback of all of us paying service. Like, how do you honor the memory of your fallen patrol leader during the funeral? So describe yourself walking in. Imagine sort of a quiet repose, not quite like on an altar kind of thing, but like a typical funerary service, like a chapel kind of small area, stone, stained glass of other like legendary Mouse Guard around. You can kind of hear a faint organ being played, like not quite a dirge, but something very somber, well lit, quiet, gentle. So like a lot of like yellows, red, a lot of flower arrangements, even though it's early. So I think like white flowers is probably appropriate. Sure. You can come in together at multiple people if you want, one at a time. Just here's your chance to describe your character the first time us and the viewers get to see your character and kind of what their personality would be like.
I think Brandon probably has the longest way to coming all the way from Wolf Point.
Mm-hmm.
Their journey would probably start with a letter that lets them know about Daisy, their old companion, and he's a bald mouse. His whiskers droop long across his top lip. He wears a thick black cloak because he mainly sticks to, stays away from civilization. But when he gets this message, I suppose he starts paying his respects by walking the distance to, or was it Spruce Tuck? Sorry.
Lockhaven.
Oh, Lockhaven. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's
okay.
where
It's
all
still
the cloaks is.
yeah, right in the center. So yeah, it's still a fair walk. So he comes through Lone Pine, Dark Water, along the long road between Wildseed and Ironwood towards Lockhaven, and sort of just takes a steady pace. We'll enter the funereal thing, and he won't make a big scene. He'll just stand somewhere in the corner and pay his respects.
You're the quiet type with nothing to personally say, but your presence is your message. I like that. Cool. Who wants to go next? Or who all wants to go next? Well, I'm trying to make this very happy. At a funeral, describing how you pay respects at a funeral.
I guess I can go next. So my character, Eddie, she's very young, basically just made guard mouse. Started out kind of naive. She was a bit coddled, so to speak, as a tender paw. And she's from Lock Haven. Her parents are apiarists there. So since they're in Lock Haven, she probably went straight to her parents to be sad with her parents. And she probably arrives at the funeral having tied like, a black ribbon around her own neck, or, wearing something appropriate. And probably also to her bee, she has a bee, Millie, also has like a black ribbon tied around, and is just very quiet, like doesn't know what to say. He's never really experienced death, of someone she knows well before.
Aw. How innocent. Very sweet.
Okay. I'll go next. So Rockford, is coming from Spruce Tuck, so a little bit of a walk as well. And as Rockford approaches, there, if you look closely at the paws, there are stains kind of over it. A little hard to tell what it was from. They match the stains on the yellow cloak that is very bright, but noticeably stained. And Rockford kind of alternatively looks, when looking towards the fire, a little morose, but then also occasionally distracted, as if they're thinking of something.
Sure.
No, yeah. So there's sadness, but there's also a, occasionally switch to other focus. There they go. Okay. And Rockford is also greeting people occasionally, just a quick, how you do?
Yeah. Daisy has known a lot of people and has a lot of friends. Even her enemies have showed up to her funeral. So a lot of envoys and missives from all across the territories.
If the flowers are there, they are avoided. They're not going to hide.
Yes. Okay. Awesome.
And little Timmy is this tiny pygmy mouse who is brown with white spots, and his hair is like really scraggly, and he's missing like a bunch of pieces of fur all over, and it kind of looks like they've just been burned away, like someone has burned those spots, and that's why there's not hair growing there. He wears an oversized gray cloak, and he walks in with and he's missing one of his ears. Like it looks like it's been sliced off. It's perfectly. It's not like a chomp, like a bite. It's like, it looks like somebody sliced off his ear, so he's missing an ear. And your face was like and he walks in with a tray, and on this tray is a arrangement of food, and it's like some of Daisy's favorite food pieces, and a little vase with one Daisy in the vase, and he leaves it at the foot of where all the other people have brought things for her.
Aw. Oh, I love that so much.
Yeah. He likes cooking things, so that's his way to people's hearts.
Through the stomach is a great way. Cool. All right. So it is sort of like as I was describing, it's a little bit about the day after or so. And this is all, you have all kind of reconvened together, knowing about her last dying wish. And you decided that now is the best time before the day really gets started in the morning to go catch up with Gwendolyn, the matriarch, and try to deliver your fallen patrol leader's final request and what will be today's mission. You arrive at the double doors, closed, but you can hear several voices, a plethora of voices coming that are already in discussion about something. You hear stuff like, Matriarch, Copperwood demands the honor of having our own returned to us. And you're kind of Gwendolyn, a little like flustered and a little kind of like her patience is running a little bit, saying like, Azel, I know, but you know that as a guard, she is to be buried here in Lockhaven. She has made no requests otherwise. And at that point, you hear the knock of the the doors as her assistants open the doors, and you all step in, and they both look at you. In front of you is Azel, the governor of Copperwood, as well as his little envoy, like 3 other mice, as well as Gwendolyn, standing there in her nice light blue colored things. You're on the bottom of the. Imagine this room. Her office is very decadent. Kind of like how we saw the chapel of the funeral thing. This is also kind of round. However, the base of it is an entire map of the territories. The territories and the towns written there are in the old language of the territories, going back to when Lockhaven was like one of the very first cities, and the old English names for all the towns are. This is how old this place is, but it's extremely well kept. Also, great paintings of legends of the guard and previous matriarchs that come before. She is like the 53rd matriarch, so like there's a very long line of history in this room that is just palpable. So anyways, they both look at you.
Having heard what they just said about our they were talking about a patrol leader, clearly, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Little Timmy will kind of like scooch his way through everybody else and try to like be up front and put one of his hands on his hip, and he'll be like, "She did have a final request. Her request was to be buried in Copperwood, and I agree. She should be honored there. That is where she's from, after all."
Real quick, did you intentionally? She didn't want to be buried there.
Oh, I thought you said that she did.
No, she wanted to be buried in Caligaro.
Oh, Caligaro. I thought you said Copperwood.
She's from Copperwood, but she wanted to be buried in Caligaro.
Oh, okay. That was my fault then.
Sorry.
So instead, I would say.
It was so good. I didn't want to ruin the role play. I'm so sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, right. But we just edit it in post. It's fine.
He said the other thing, or he said the other word. Not that. Okay.
Perfect. And so before they respond, let's write our goals for today's mission. In Mouse Guard, every mouse has a goals section of their sheet. This is something you want to accomplish during the session. This is something that should be probably role worthy. Is the easiest way of putting it. You have to make a test in order to basically accomplish your goal. So you can't just be like, wake up. It has to be something to strive for. I would ask one of you be one of them would be deliver her body or fulfill her wish or something related to the Mouse Guard, your Daisy's request in some way, whether it's just the cloak as the rider or the body itself or something. Okay.
Did someone need a goal?
Yeah, I wasn't sure if we needed goals or not, but this is the part of the game where we definitely should do that.
I have a goal already, so if someone else needs that, that's an easy win, because we'll probably do that.
I will take that easy win. Make sure
you go. Take it. Move it up.
Yeah.
So my goal can't be stoic and the quiet type all the time.
No.
For instance, my goal is ensure the safety of those around me.
This is hard.
You can share a goal, but
I was actually thinking that like my goal would be something along the lines of something to do with Gwendolyn.
Sure.
Trying to support Gwendolyn in some way. Maybe make sure that Gwendolyn is seen as the rightful, top chief without people snapping at her ankles or something like that. Does that make sense?
Okay. Sure. Like protect the. Are you talking about in terms of like the like protecting Gwendolyn in the form as she's the head of the Mouse Guard and shouldn't be spoken down to?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Yeah, something like that. Okay.
Well, then you probably don't like what little Timmy just did.
Yeah.
Already internal arguments with the party.
That's good. Unlike D&D, this game actually encourages a little bit of that sort of disagreement between party members. It's safe, and we also have safety tools as well. So I feel pretty comfortable with this group that we can immediately start with a little bit of scratch. Okay. So do we all have a goal written down?
I think Eris was the last one, or
I think I'm good. I think I got something.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. Excellent. All right. So that's all aside. Cut back to the moment right after Timmy has announced, and they both look at each other and they say, "That won't do." Gwendolyn looks to Aesel, the governor, and says, "Hold on just a moment. Let me handle this." And she comes over to you, Timmy. She doesn't necessarily do this condescendingly, but she does like kind of like get closer to you and kind of like not like look down on you, or like she tries to get a little bit closer to your height. She looks down and says, "Timmy, I know Daisy meant so much to you, so much to all of us, but to bury her in Caligero would be against Mouse Guard procedure. There are rules and scribes for these types of things. It would be in her will, and it was not written there."
Well, actually, there was a case about 10 years ago. It was Joffrey the Pashy. There, he entrusted his final words to his patrol, and he hadn't updated his will in a while because he'd been on a little bit of a trip, and then there were some weasels and some beavers, and it was a very long story. But that's different. That part's not relevant to this. But what's relevant, and it is in the archive, you can check. In that case, the guard went with the word that the patrol told them of their leader of the Patchy. So there's actually precedent for the body being buried in Caligero.
And with that, you get to make the first roll of the night.
Yes!
That was awesome. I'm so glad you picked up on what I was laying down. And that is so good. Yeah.
I
so
would like to assist as well, for sure.
Absolutely.
Because with that, little Timmy says, "And doesn't it say in our oath that we should honor our ancestors? She's now part of our ancestry. And if that's where she wanted to be, she should be able to be there."
Damn, that's good. Yeah. Others can also help, even though I'm going to kind of switch and slide into mechanics mode real quick. But others who want to help and describe how they help, feel free to chime in when you're ready. Okay. So before you're also, if you're still thinking about how this works, stuff like that, don't feel bad. So, okay. So, Rockford. This is going to be, I believe this is going to be a persuade test, because rather than like say orator, because you're dealing with someone one-on-one and you're trying to let them, you're not trying to manipulate them so much as let them like be like, no, there is a precedent. And
sure.
You
would the Legend of the Guards trait fall into this at all? Because that's what I was going for. I wasn't sure.
Okay. Yeah, you totally
or wise. Sorry. Yeah. Not trait.
Mm-hmm. But remember how a wise helps you avoid failure rather than give you extra dice right now. But you're totally positioned to use a fate or a persona if it comes to that. With that was because that was such a cool story. That was really good.
All right, because I actually have nothing in persuade but to an archivist, so probably
sure.
Wasn't she kind of using instructor because she's kind of like talking about a situation?
Instructor is a little bit more specific. Instructor is for literally teaching somebody.
Okay, gotcha.
Rather than this is her like. Well, let me ask you this, Alicia. What is Rockford's intention by bringing up the?
So Rockford's intention is that it's more of an appeal to logic than emotion. It's just like, no, what you said was wrong, and here's my case file as to why. So actually, you can do this. This is him kind of like rolling through his decks and being like, no, here we go.
Right. So your intention. So you would say that your intention is to convince or persuade Gwendolyn to see it your way with logic. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Awesome. Yeah. Okay. So this is going to be a versus test.
Okay.
So you don't have. So this is going to be persuade, and because you don't have it, do you want to just do you want to like start learning it, or do you want to use your nature?
Because if I start learning it, that would put it at a 2, and I'm Sorry,
Yeah,
explain
when
how
you're
that
done.
works. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, but when,
So
okay.
yeah. So everyone playing at home, Mouse Guard has a skill learning system, as you would think of like from Skyrim. You have to use skills to learn them, and you need to do a combination of a number of attempts equal to your nature to finally learn the skill. But you can begin that process, or if you already have a skill, you need a certain number of passes and fails in order to level up the skill, both passes and fails. But while you're learning a skill, you just need a number of attempts. So do you want to start on the little road here to attempt to learn this skill, or would you rather rely on your natural talents of nature and eschew the chance to begin learning the skill for now?
So if I learn the skill, then what would I be rolling?
You would be
won't
rolling.
learn it yet. So if you look at your persuader
Yes,
skill,
right.
and then next to it you have the little boxes with it P or F. You kind of like you'll advance once you hit that amount of boxes. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Not all. Yeah, not all of the boxes. The sheet isn't as
Up to date.
Yeah. It depends on what level you need. So
It'll
to
just keep
start
help you
off,
keep track of them though.
yeah, I thought I saw your character sheet. I think your nature is 4, right?
My nature is 5.
5. So it would take 5 attempts to learn. You have to learn persuade 5 times before you learn it.
Okay. But I still don't know what I actually roll to try and learn
Right.
it.
So if you want to learn it, you would be rolling your will. You'd be rolling half of your will, as well as
So
half of
Will's
help.
3.
So
Yeah.
I can't remember. Is that round up or down?
Round up. This
Round
game
up
is
to
generous,
2.
unlike other games. Yeah.
So 2.
So
All right.
So you're at-
Yeah, sure. We will try and start learning that. So it would be a 2 verse, just verse
3,
Okay.
right?
3.
Using your Legend of the Guard wise as well. So you get 2 from that. And then you have assist from me, so you'd be rolling 3.
hold on.
Right?
So no, but thank you. So the first part, so you know, so before you do how much dice you want to put into this, I'm going to be rolling 6 dice. Okay.
Yep.
And so you're starting at 3 dice because your will is 5.
Oh.
Oh shit.
What is your will?
My will's 3. My
Okay.
nature's 5.
Oh,
So,
okay. So then you're
I'd be
rolling 2
starting
dice.
at 2.
Starting 2.
Then I could use was it fate or persona to apply my will dice, my nature dice as well. I can't remember.
Yeah,
which
you
one.
can tap your persona to add your nature to that. Yep.
Persona.
That does not get halved. Yeah.
Okay. So then we'd be up to 7.
Yeah.
And I will just make
Now,
sure I mark off
There
my
are,
sheet.
yep, and then there are two other things that we can also add here. If you have supplies on this test, you could do it. And anyone else wants to help, they could try to help. Because you're learning the skill, anyone can just chime in here because you're using will. In this game, skills help skills, abilities help abilities. So if you don't know what you're doing as you're learning, everyone else can just pile on too, because you don't know what you're doing, and therefore everyone else can do it.
No.
And the last thing is traits. You can invoke your trait positively for a die or negatively for a check for the player's turn, or 1 die positively for this one test.
Not that I want to make the first roll sort of like a PvP thing, but could I sort of help Gwendolyn? Could I chuck in an extra dice?
You
for her?
absolutely could help them. Yeah.
Because I think
But
Brandon.
but Scrat, if you help them, you have to explain how you're helping.
Oh, definitely. So Brandon will step forward and he will walk to Gwendolyn's side and hey, no matter what Gwendolyn decides, I'm sure it would be for the best of the mouse folk and the guard. And I'll give Timmy and Rockford the eye. You know the eye.
I was gonna say I also want to help Rockford. I would step forward and be like, on cold nights, Daisy would always tell us stories of her dreams of retiring to Calagaro and someday being buried there. Just like looking sad,
Yeah. Oh,
nervous. That's going
that's so sweet. Cool. So you should between the 2 extra help, that should be 1 extra die, right? So I think we're ready to roll.
Okay.
I'm
So, the 2 extra health is 1 die because they're half a die each.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're
All right. So then, so we're at 8. All right.
Yep. And I'm rolling 7.
Okay. And since it's a versus,
The ob is just put the ob as 1 It's going to be the number of successes that I roll.
Gotcha.
Okay. I got 5 successes. That's a pretty good.
Oh, I rolled really poorly as established.
You got this.
Oh,
barely.
But wait, that's not it. We're not at the end though. Remember, so you spent your persona already, but you still have a fate, and you use your Legends of the Guard wise to tell that story. Would you want to spend your fate point to re-roll one of those failures and try to get a success?
yes.
You also
'cause
got
it's so
no
close.
you got no 6s, which is also really rough. But that's
all those ones, man. Yes, I will do that. So take the fate off and reroll.
Just- slash R 1d6 greater than 4.
Okay. No!
Oh!
Oh
Why?
no.
Okay. So you fail. Mark an attempt. So here's what happens. 2 things happen here. One, mark an attempt here for persuade because you're learning persuade.
That was a
Part of learning
fail.
persuade is learning what doesn't work. But when you're learning a skill, passes and fails don't matter. It's just a number of tries.
Okay.
So mark an attempt. And second of all, because you tapped your nature, when you tap your nature is climbing, escaping, hiding, and foraging. Arguing is not part of your nature. So your nature is going to go down first by the margin of failure, by how much you lose by. And since you lost by 1, your nature is going to go to 4 out of 5. So your current nature goes to 4 and your max goes to 5. What that means is if you had another persona and you wanted to tap your persona, you would add 4 dice to the roll instead of the 5.
Gotcha.
Okay.
All those
Right.
ones, man.
But next, yeah, I know that's super unlucky. And for example, though, next week when we do the previously on, one of the things you could do is rather than recover a condition, you could recover that 4 out of 5 to 5 out of 5. That is a thing you could do too. So like
Okay.
those are, just giving you some context there. Awesome. So here's what happens. I'm going to do a thing called, and I'm going to be like, behind the curtain here, and what this looks like when you fail. I'm going to do something that's called a conditional success. So what happens is everyone gives these points off to everybody, and I think it's going to be, okay. I think it is. We see Edme's or Eddie's story is the part that moves Gwendolyn, but it's been so tense, and you felt so strong about this, and I think you're going to get angry, Rockford, and take the angry condition because it wasn't logic that ended up solving the case; it was emotion. And then second of all, for everyone else who helped, so I guess Timmy and not Rockford, or excuse me, Timmy, not Rockford, but Eddie. Yeah, both of you are going to also take the hungry condition, a lesser condition. But for helping, you are bound to failures when you help. So if you help somebody, you are also on the line for failure. Scrat, you are fine. Brandon doesn't take a condition because you're on the other side of the argument. But by the end of this fight, you do ultimately get what you want. Gwendolyn sighs and says, just this once. You've all have been through a lot. These past 2 years have been very hard for the guard. And I believe you when you say that it's what you wanted. We could use a little bit of light in this world, even if it is about, she looks down, about a funeral and last rites. And Aesol is upset, being like, how the mouse guard just protect, you just only care about them because they're mouse guard too. What are you about the territories? And Gwendolyn's like, that would be enough. And Aesol knows that is the time to leave. But Aesol leaves pretty angrily. But before he goes, he thanks Brandon for his help. It says, or like non-verbally, right? He just looks over and says, like, at least one person is, sensible. That kind of like look. But yeah, good job, everybody. So that's not too bad. Cool. So now the next part of the game, we're going to turn the page of the comic book and we're going to begin to prepare for the journey to take us to Caligero, bringing the body. Now it is early spring, as I mentioned. Not necessarily the paths are not necessarily all well kept yet. There's still plenty of snow on the ground in certain places. I think as we saw the little montage of Brandon making it here, they are a master of the wilds. They can travel pretty well without trails, but they would know just how arduous this is going to be. So before you set out, because this is going to be a pretty complicated thing, is we're going to get into what's called a conflict for this part of the session. If there's any sort of roles you want to do in order to like make preparations, like purchase snowshoes or buy a map or make a map or anything like that, that you think could help you get supplies and things for the test for this long journey. This is going to, in time, in terms of like, it's going to take probably like a week, less than a week, like 5 days of you guys traveling with the body to make it to Caligero.
I think little Timmy's planning to make lots of food and prepare lots of food things for us. So probably cooking.
Yeah. Okay. You want to cook up some supplies?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You may do that.
I guess I'll look over their supplies, see if they're fit to travel. Just look at their cloaks and stuff. And are these city mouse, or are they going to be okay?
That's up to the players. How do you all look? Does any mouse go up to your snuff, Brandon? For real? Yeah.
I can see you see what I'm putting down.
I was gonna say Eddie's definitely a city mouse. Relatively little experience out. Just a little. She's getting better.
Sure.
Probably
I imagine Rockford went overboard on the preparing for the journey. It's basically like a poof mouse, like extra cloaks just wrapped around him and everything, toddling along.
Like that one scout kid who's got like a skillet. They've got saucepans. They've got, like everything. Yeah, 2 bedrolls just in case. You can never be too sure.
Yeah.
I imagine Rockford has like a scroll with like a checklist and it's like really long.
Cool.
Yep.
So
Little Timmy, on the other hand, is like minimalist, but like Timmy it looks scraggly AF. Like has seen some shit. Just put it that way.
Love it. Okay, so I guess it's going to be Brandon. You're the one kind of fashioning supplies, but others can help. Because I think you said it first, you're going to be doing what's called a resources test to get the supplies that you need.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, this represents paying and acquisitioning these supplies. Okay. So this is just like it's kind of like a light. Like we don't have to role play too much. It's a shop scene. It's you're going to the quartermaster to requisition the things you need, unless you're making them yourselves and you don't trust the things that they keep, and you would rather try to make them.
So what are we looking for here? As like a shopping scene? Am I like heading in and checking out things in the shop, or? Yeah,
this is a role to see how well the supplies, the quality and condition and stuff of the supplies in general that you're getting. You don't have to do each individual one. This is sort of everything all together. Is this something that you think Brandon would go to the quartermaster to requisition, or do you think that like nonsense? Like I brought extra supplies and I'm going to just fashion them and make them fit for each person, right? Like extra pairs of snowshoes for everybody, make sure they fit, an extra bedroll, or is it going to be a thing that you're just going to go to the quartermaster and requisition them?
I think it's more likely he'd go to the quartermaster.
Okay, sure, yeah. So this is called a resources test.
Mm-hmm.
To get all these things. Other people can help you. Resources helps resources. This is going to be an OB4 resources test to get all of the supplies that you want. And what this is going to do is that in the journey, these supplies will be able to help you with the rolls to get you to where you want to go.
Okay. So I have 4 in my resources. That's 4 dice, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And the obstacle to this test is 4.
Okay.
You can't add a trait to a resources test because it's like you can't be like brave while you're trying to pay for something, or like whatever. But and you also can't tap your persona, but you can still use wises and stuff.
And you can't be cautious when you're investigating things to burn. No, I'm joking. Okay, so could I add survivalist to this as well, though, or scout?
Wait, I think you might be able to use. No, I'm sorry. You could totally use it. I think you might be able to squeak. If you ham it up enough for me, I would allow it.
Oh well, in that case, I'll be going around the shopkeeper's quarters, and I'll be like looking
Can
at
we
like.
cheese it up instead of ham it up? We are mice after all.
Oh yeah, let's make it thick and creamy. I'm gonna be going around all the racks. I'm gonna be looking at like the snowshoes and the bedrolls and everything. So I'm gonna be like, so where were these made? Who made them? A craftsman or?
Listen,
I'm
our
listening.
supplies have been running a little thin since the war. We only got what we got.
Twitches his whiskers.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, where's all the good stuff? Have you got a back room? Come on, we all know times of war. You hide all the good stuff out the back. Do a little black market trade. I'm mouse guard. I won't give you away.
No. Everyone's a mouse guard here. So he looks at you and he's like, all the good stuff's checked out. First patrols have already begun leaving. The rest of them already checked it out right before you got here about the funeral. They're already on their way for the paths. You want to rob people of the path making to Wolf Point. He doesn't know where you're from and doesn't realize you're from Wolf Point. And says, I imagine the journey from here to Wolf Point is impossible without all these supplies.
Ha! Much you know, sonny. I could tell you a thing or two, but I've got better things to do. I'll just look with what I've got. Can I just roll like my 2 survivalist and the 4 resources? I don't feel like that conversation went well enough for me to use a trait. Like.
Okay. Yeah. No. So if you want to make some supplies, then you could totally make a scavenger test instead. So basically, you either have to buy them or the resources, or make them with survivalist.
Oh, okay.
You can't do it's not like a combination of skills. It's
I'll go and make my own. I don't trust
it seems
him.
right. Like what it basically showed is that you what would be the word you strained the relationship, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. You have the softness of sandpaper, and the quartermaster doesn't have time for it. So okay, yeah. So you go off to make your own. So let's see. Let's do a survival. Let's do a survival test for this. Survivalist. Let's do
Can I assist
ob
with
3
that?
for totally. So it's gonna be like an ob 3 test for this to make the supplies.
Mm-hmm.
What this looks like is like you're having to go out to like a little bit outside of Lockhaven and like MacGyvering things around. And yeah, other people can help. They could see you like kind of doing this and wanting to help.
I'm a harvester mouse, so I probably will help you just like gather things.
Yeah. And as always, it's up to the player whether or not they take your help or not.
Oh yeah, I'll happily take the help, but the thick vines, not the ones that break easy, the thick ones that you can tie stuff together with. That's the good shit
Like
right there.
this one? How about this one?
Well, look, there's a simple test. You just take it, you pull it hard, and if it breaks, it's no good.
First one Timmy does is like, oh, I guess not that one. Picks up another one, does this a few times and keeps testing them.
I haven't done
And
this.
while he's pulling on the sticks and trying to grab the right sticks, he looks at you and he's like, why didn't you agree to bury Daisy in Caligari? Is it Caligari?
Caligaro.
Caligaro.
Well, Timmy, I've lived a long time as a mouse guard, and you learn there's certain things that are more important than the needs of the few. It's right there in our oath. You serve the greatest good, and sometimes you don't do the best thing. And in that particular situation, I believe that the integrity of our leader, Gwendolyn, was more important than the wishes of our passed away friend.
But our oath also says that we should honor our ancestors. What do you think of that?
Well, yeah, that's true. And as someone who's probably going to be an ancestor sometime soon, I would appreciate that, I guess.
Where would you want to be buried?
Another snap.
This just took on a mildly threatening tone.
I know.
He was not snapping
Yeah.
to be like aggressive. He was just trying to like test the sticks. Sorry, that might have come across wrong.
It's fine. It's fine. Where would I want to be buried? Probably right along the halls where all the other mouse guard are buried. Maybe facing the sunrise.
I'll make sure of it.
Oh, that's very kind of you.
And he goes back diligently, like snapping sticks and putting the good ones in the pile.
Awesome. Yep. Take a die. That's if you want it. That's great.
Oh, I'll take it. Yeah.
No, I refuse to take the die.
Would anyone else like to help?
Nope, logic doesn't work with him. Not helping. Still angry.
Hell yeah, Rockford.
I was gonna say Eddie is from Lockhaven, probably knows everybody and where everything is. So would maybe see the little Timmy and Brandon looking around for things and come over and offer, what kinds of things you need to find. I know where everything is here in Lockhaven.
Well, Brandon gave me this list. Here.
And then he walks away.
Okay. And he's like looking over the list like, maybe. Okay.
Yeah. Cool. So what skill do you think that is to helping? Survivalist?
Probably.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems. Yeah.
Okay.
seems good.
I would also allow haggler as you go
Yeah.
talk to
Oh my gosh.
as you go
please,
talk to the
Haggler,
quartermaster in their
yes.
stead rather than both. Like I'm a, whatever you think is the most appropriate. However you imagine.
I want RP
Your
of
mouse.
Eris haggling people.
The quartermaster probably knows me. I have one of my friends are like the armorer's children are like my childhood
Yeah.
friends. So probably the quartermaster knows me, so we could use haggler.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And so we
Round
see
two,
you.
fight.
Yeah, we see you go over to the quartermaster.
I don't have
Right.
to mention who I'm getting the
Yeah.
supplies for.
No. Yeah. No, not at all. Like they know exactly. Like, oh, what do you need for Daisy? Oh yeah, anything. I have a special selection in the back, and like he goes and totally gets that stuff.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Karma.
Of course.
Oh, that's so
Daisy.
good.
Daisy saved me life one summer in the Weasel Wars.
And he's like, tell me more. I'd love to hear about that.
No, it's not a pleasant story.
Oh, okay. I guess now's maybe not the time to be sharing sad stories about Daisy.
And and he's like, here's everything, and I think I gave you a little extra. And gave you some supplies here to so the die roll. You're still rolling. You're still rolling this test, but the extra thing.
So what have we got here? We've got I think I've accidentally just closed the window. Never mind.
No problem.
Did I close the window?
So you're base survivalist, right?
4, right? So that's 1 from Timmy and 1 from Eddie. So 6 is what you're at right now?
6.
It's ob 3. Do you want to use a trait for in favor or disadvantage? Or do you feel this is good?
No, this should be good.
Okay.
And you gave it a difficulty of 3, right?
Mhm.
Oh.
Okay. So that's a failure. You also don't have any 6s, so you can't spend a fate to do that. But do you have a wise that's relevant to gathering supplies?
Ooh.
I don't think he put any wises on his
No, I did
sheet.
not. One of them.
A
would
guard
have-
mouse has 1 wise.
At least, yeah.
Mine,
That's 1.
mine would have been beetle wise. I'm sorry.
Okay. does your knowledge of beetles probably doesn't help you.
No.
Unless you can be creative. I reward creative uses of wises as long as they're not like completely ludicrous.
Perhaps as I'm looking around, I find some old beetle carapaces, and I recognize that I can fashion things from them carapaces with my
armor.
expert knowledge.
Beetles are livestock for everybody watching at home.
Beetle noms.
Yeah, we could have some
Sure.
I know how to cut and correctly
Sure.
butcher and prepare beetle meat.
Yeah. So I love the idea that in my canon, is that you're like missing like one piece, like a stick or like a hammer of some kind, and so instead you're like, but there's like an old chitinous beetle around. You're like, just make myself out of the chitin, and you go like fashion the missing tool that you needed out of it. Yeah, I would totally allow you to spend your. So this costs a fate point, but then you can re-roll one of those failures.
Oh no! So there goes the fate point.
Mm-hmm. And then you're 1d6 greater than 4.
Oh,
Oh God, no!
The ironic
Isn't
thing
that
is-
so rough when you re-roll a die and you're just that one success short? Isn't that bad?
Yeah.
the ironic
that's-
thing is, when we were doing character gen and doing the pre-gens, I did not roll a single failure on any dice. Every dice I rolled was a success. And here
Yep.
it comes.
Oh yeah. Okay. So I got this. So here's what happens here. You're going to get the piece that you need, but now you also are you're tired, I think. I think finally, as you pick up that stuff and you're ready to go for the travel, I feel you traveled all this way here, and now you're getting ready to go again. And then especially on a journey you don't really want to go, I think you feel it a little bit in your bones as you are tired, and you try to hide it from others. You don't actually have to hide it. That's just in my head.
Yeah, I'm
so
kind
take
of
mark. Yeah.
I've marked tired, so I'm sort of gnarled in a way. So
Yeah.
now I just like a bit squinty and gnarled, like
Yeah. So basically the same.
basically the same.
So basically,
Cool. All right.
I just ticked the
Um,
old box.
But now we all have supplies and stuff for our journey. So I'm going to move us over, and we're going to do our first conflict of the session. So this might be a good time to also to switch over to the new view.
Most certainly can.
Okay. So the conflict is going to be what's called a journey conflict. This is the montage. In Lord of the Rings, this is the fellowship going up to the Caradhras, right? Or what is it? Caradhras? What's the name of the mountain? Whatever. Like that is the Caradhras. Like this is like that montage long scoping scene of the actual full journey. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be viewing into little snippets, little vignettes, what are to be called volleys in this game, of scenes as we're trying to make our way to Caligaro. Okay. You're going to be going against spring because we're in spring. And so all the rolls are going to be against 6 dice against spring. And in all conflicts and journey conflicts, especially, we need a goal. I kind of pre-wrote one just to have something on the screen. But to share, spring's goal here is to thwart, pummel, exhaust, and trap you. Spring doesn't want you to get to.
that's not very nice. Spring brings flowers and rain and and stuff that gives us harvest.
So
And
it wants to spring a trap on us, does it?
Yeah. Hope you don't fall for it. Yeah. Thanks for coming to the show, everybody.
This is your high quality entertainment.
Yeah. So I made a goal already. Just like make it to Caligaro safely in one piece, because it seemed like the obvious one. But if you want to change that in any way, let me know. And then what's going to happen is when we do a conflict, I'm going to need someone to be the leader. The leader of the conflict is going to be the person who rolls the health of the group. Because in conflicts, it's a health pile versus a health pile. It's called disposition. and you're going to try to keep as much disposition while removing disposition of the other group. This is true for all dramatic like fight scenes. This is true for dramatic arguments. This is true for journeys. This is true for map like wide scale war conflicts. Any major like you want to get into the detail that a single roll probably doesn't cover, or it's not as interesting enough just to know whether or not you succeed or fail, but there's some cool stuff in the details there. You can use this subsystem of the game. And I think this journey has that in spades for us here. So,
and thank you, A. Kelly Lane, who donates a re-roll for each player.
Ooh, nice. That's
so,
handy.
like a wise, yeah. So you could re-roll one failure. That's nice.
I have a leader trait and a brave trait, so I don't know if that would make it sense for me to go first. I'm also a fighter specialist.
So it's cool to talk amongst yourselves as players to feel like how to strategize for this, because this is like a big deal, right? This is part of this is basically the same as like your characters in person being like, okay, so like you're looking over the map and planning things and who's leading, who's the manager, right, of that group for that part, especially because your group doesn't have a leader anymore and it's sorely missed. This might be the first time you all have to get together and make a significant decision without Daisy, by the way, which is kind of frustrating. So yeah, so who steps up to try to lead the first one? Just so you know, this role is going to be Pathfinder. There's no obstacle here. The higher the better. The higher you roll, the more hit points you have for the test.
My Pathfinder is 2, so I don't know.
Mine's 2 too.
4 for Rockford.
3.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'd probably be taking more of like the instructor role in this anyway. Like seeing these city mice, I'll just be like, we can.
Oh, you
help
were
with
being
this.
ignored, hardcore. If you're trying to instruct Rockford,
Oh
your
yeah,
advice is not listened to.
and the thing is as well,
If it's going to be a Pathfinder role, then maybe Rockford would make sense, pending what other skills and traits you have that make sense to add to it.
I have the feeling that me and Rockford are just like negating each other. Oh, you guys are swapped around.
The other traits I have are fearless, calm, and inquisitive. So there's that.
Like fearless and calm seem like good traits in a leader.
Yeah.
Well, did Rockford just not have a problem taking the lead? If that's cool with everybody else.
Sure.
Brandon's opinion doesn't matter.
Brandon is cool with it, but like your like dismissal of his advice just goes straight over his head, and he just continues anyway. Now the best way, you see, when you look at the trees, the muskrat is on the north side.
Okay. Awesome. So then what's going to happen here is this, like I said, this is going to be a Pathfinder test by you, Rockford. You could add a trait, do everything like you can with a regular old test here. The only difference is that this test doesn't count towards advancement.
Okay.
Because the ob is 0. This is just the better you rolled. That's it. And what's going to happen is you're going to make this Pathfinder test, and then you're going to add the result of that test to your health. And that is going to be the disposition for the group. Okay.
Right. So I think I'll just go with just the 4 I have.
Sure. You're considered having supplies for this test because of the last scene.
Okay, so 5. Right.
Yeah.
Oh.
Right. Now, does anyone want to help? In Mouse Guard, you could always help with the skill if you describe how you're helping with it. Or you could also help with another relevant skill or adjacent skill. Some of them are laid out in a handout. But as always, I encourage you to be fictionally cool and be like, how could I use Haggler in this situation? Or like, how could I use a certain skill? And if it makes sense and you can justify it, it is yours. That extra helper die is yours if you want it.
I'm definitely trying to help with the instructor thing, but I have a feeling Rockford is probably.
I will not take your die. There's nothing.
I could either help with Weather Watcher because that's my specialty, and I feel like if the spring is bad weather, or because I'm the apiarist and I have my bee Millie, they kind of use them as like they're like trained, right? Can I use Millie to help us?
Yeah, totally.
Like a little bee scout.
Yeah, totally. So so you're helping with scouting then. But it looks like weather and scouting, just basically planning ahead, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. That looks awesome. Okay, totally.
And I have Scout and Pathfinder as well, so I could
Mhm.
probably be helping with both of those.
Okay,
Oh, we're up to 8. Right. 8 it shall be. And I just closed the dice box because I'm that good. All right. And this is just health, so obstacle doesn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
4.
4 successes.
I
Cool.
didn't expect that.
You're gonna add 4. Okay, so what is your health? Your health score?
My health score
Yeah, your rating.
is 5. So we're at 9.
Yeah, so you have 9. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cool. Okay, so this is your total disposition. Is 9, and then I have to roll Spring's disposition. Cool. Mine's 9 as well, because it gets added on top of Spring.
That wasn't Spring. Timmy just farted.
Jesus. Well, that smell is going to linger and going to be, harassing you for the whole trip. Okay, cool. So now that we have that, we have our disposition, we have our health set up. You don't have to distribute the health around anybody. It's just based on the group in Mouse Guard. It's just that's collectively, that is the health of the group. Now what's going to happen is now we get into describing the individual vignettes, the volleys that's going to happen in this game. This is the attack, defend, feints, and maneuvers. In a journey conflict, when you attack something in this is marching ahead. This is making progress, basically stopping the other person from achieving their goal, or in this case, nature from achieving their goal. How do you stop them from thwarting you? By marching on, right? Weather be damned, doing it. Defending is either survivalist or weather watcher. This represents planning, foresight, represents resting for the evening, recovering your health. It bolsters your own goal. It doesn't help you thwart the other goal or attack the other goal. It just helps you not lose. Defending isn't good at the start when you have full health, because defending recovers disposition. The third one is feinting. Feinting is a surprise attack in a journey conflict. It could be represented as taking a shortcut, but it's high risk, high reward, because a feint doesn't do anything if it goes against an attack. The attack just stomps and trumps a feint. But if a feint goes against, like, say, a defend, feint automatically succeeds the same way an attack succeeds against it. So it's sort of like a special thing. And then the last one is maneuver. Maneuver is also survivalist and weather watcher. Maneuvering is, literally maneuvering. In this case, it's also kind of like camping, scouting, giving yourself a position of advantage to leverage later. It doesn't help you get to your goal. It just sets you up to be really good for the next move that you're going to take, the next attack, defend, volley, or a feint kind of thing. Okay? It's like a power-up kind of move. It could also punish the other group, like to give them -1 die and stuff, if you would prefer. So just that's like a high overview. I know it's going to be confusing. I know, like, it's going to be a little bit hard going through the first one, and I really appreciate everyone's patience as we learn the system together. So we can just do this together. So what's going to happen now is that Spring is myself. So there's a conflict deck on the screen here. I'm going to choose from this deck the 3 cards that Spring is going to do in order. And then once I put them down, you all can discuss the order of operations of who wants to do what action in what order. Okay? So what's going to happen is in those 3 volleys, the 3 of you are going to decide, like, I'm going to be the one stepping forward to make the test. But just because it's my turn doesn't mean other people can't help you. It's just like any other test. Then obviously we have 4 people though, which means the last person is on deck, which means after all 3 have gone, and if the conflict isn't over, that person must go next. Okay? So in other words, you can't go twice in a conflict until everyone else has already gone.
Cool.
All right. So I'm going to go choose cards to play here. Cool. Actually, I'm going to do it this way. This is probably cool. Okay. My cards are down. In terms of like painting the scene here, as you guys are trudging off, there's that faint, like, late January, February kind of like wet snow on the ground, right? All the trees are still pretty bare. Just the very beginning parts of buds are beginning to grow. The sky has that sort of dull gray where you never know exactly what time it is. So that's sort of like bleak. It could go either way. It's very ambiguous. But anyways, my 3 cards are down.
So how do we pick a card each, or?
Right. So talk amongst yourselves about the order of how you want to do things. I'll write it in chat to remind you. But attacking is Pathfinder. Defending is Survivalist or Weather Watcher. Fainting is Pathfinding. And maneuvering is also Survival Weather Watcher. And so what's going to happen is you're going to decide amongst yourselves how you want to order what type of cards you want to play down. And then we're going to do scene by scene what that kind of looks like each card as we do each test.
So it seems like it should be Rockford and then Eddie. And then it can be either me or Brandon for the last 2. Rock, paper, scissors.
Do we go on 3 or like?
It's so hard with cameras. Okay, good luck.
Just 3. I'll close my eyes. Rock, paper, scissors, go. I don't even know what it is.
It was the same. It was the same.
Oh no! Okay, one more time. Rock, paper, scissors, go.
Okay, Scrap got it. Brandon.
You got it.
Scratch. Okay.
So I will be on deck.
I'll put my little mouse there.
Because it doesn't really matter. Those last 2, we both basically have the same thing.
Yeah. So the order of the 3 of you is up to how you're describing it. Cool. And so now what's going to happen is you're going to choose which cards you want to play, and those cards correspond once again to the relevant skills. Remember, attacking, directly going after your objective; defending, bolstering your own goal; fainting, doing a trick way to achieve your objective or going after your goal; maneuvering, setting yourself up to deliver the next thing.
So we get to choose, right?
Yeah, so go ahead and choose which cards those are. Conflict leader, the leader has final say over, like, if there's ever like I'm not sure what to do and stuff like that. The leader has the final call. The point of being a leader is that you can break ties and stuff if people aren't sure what to do.
Cool.
You know what to do, Rockford.
Leader doesn't know what to do either.
Attack.
Right. Well, I can tell you that, like, because it's our first conflict, you shouldn't defend in the first volley, because defending once again recovers hit points. It's like a cleric wouldn't cast Cure Light Wounds on the first round if no one got hit, right?
Yeah, I'd say attack.
Okay,
You're good at pathfinding stuff.
that is fair. So I just drag it into the square.
Mhm.
Okay.
Now, my strength is defense.
Yeah, keep it face down for now. So
Maybe we don't.
I
need-
mean, technically, you could flip it up because I can't move my cards are immutable. Like, this is my order.
I don't know how to flip that up. Just
I
drag
gotcha.
it out. Okay. There we go. All right. Cool. I have selected.
Cool. So you're going to do attack. What about is it going to be Emma? Nettie?
Eddie's next. You're muted.
If you've been talking this whole time, you've been muted.
Sorry, because I was coughing earlier. I was thinking maneuver because that's survival weather watcher. And then that would maybe hopefully set up Brandon to do something.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I like it. Do it up.
Cool.
Okay. Well, Brandon's strength is really in defense. He's very watchful for danger. So I guess he would sort of have been looking to do a similar sort of thing, but he could attack in this round if someone's setting him up to make headway. I think that makes sense.
So you're gonna lead through that section. Awesome. Okay. Now I'm gonna flip my cards and we'll see what I chose. What Spring has chosen against you. Spring decided to hit you with a storm, a sudden storm, and more worsening clouds.
Oh no.
And then just solid rain. However, you have all planned for this because you did an attack versus a feint. So we see the sky go dark and storms, and the camera goes down to where you should be, but then we see that you have already made progress, and you look behind as the camera continues to fade back, and you've beaten the storm. Because an attack against a feint, I don't roll anything. You roll to see how much damage you do to me. You trumped me. My gambit failed and blew up in my face. So
We
you
use the carapaces of some of the creatures, and we sit on them and we slide down the mudslides.
yeah,
Told you them
get
beetles
through.
would be useful.
I mean, are you doing it with a dead body? I don't know if that's of your patrol lead. Yeah.
Cloak slide. Woo!
Slide, yeah. Put them on it.
Right. Okay.
Sticks down.
So Rockford, go ahead and make your roll.
Okay, sure. Pathfinder.
It's against Ob 1. And this is a Pathfinder test because you're attacking.
Okay.
Other people can help you like usual. So we have a scene. We have a scene of you all quickly making your way down through some of the wet snow and mud by using the carapaces.
Now,
I have Insectrist, so I could totally add that.
You could totally help with Insectrist. Supplies also are added to this. You're basically considered having supplies for the whole test because of what you did before you set out.
Now, when you put your foot down, you want to take a nice sturdy stance with
I will
your
not take his
stave.
down.
Oh, and I was real quick. There was one matter I forgot to do, and I'm so sorry about it. To cut it back a little bit, your disposition is a little bit less, and I'm so sorry about it. I got too busy explaining stuff that I forgot to do it.
Sure.
Because for everyone who's hungry, conditions reduce your disposition at the start of any conflict. They don't stack in terms of only unique conditions stack. So multiple hungry and thirsties do not stack. Multiple angries or exhausted do not stack. But I know one of you is probably hungry, right?
I'm
Yes.
always hungry though.
But the condition though is a special hungry or thirsty. So I'm going to
I said
remove
I was
one
cooking.
for that. I know Brandon is tired, which also removes one. Angry doesn't remove one for a journey conflict. But if it was like
It's will based, then it would.
exactly
Yeah.
will-based conflicts would. So like anything involving social stuff would be.
Okay.
But
So right now I have the resources and the insects. So
Yeah, right.
yeah. All right.
So your actual total is 7. Forgive me for forgetting that. But
sure.
we have-
You're doing
problema.
Pathfinder thing, you could probably take Weather Watcher from Eddie as well, I'd assume.
yeah, they describe themselves as sort of looking out for.
Sure. That works. All right. So
Saw that storm.
Which is a good
coming.
thing. Yeah, exactly.
okay, so my base is 4, and then I'm getting a total of 4 help. Basically, resources, Eddie,
And-
Timmy, and forgetting something.
Lies.
Wise. Okay.
And then if you have anything else on your thing that allows you to get more bonuses.
You already used your persona,
I did.
but if you have a trait,
Or a
use
wise.
positively or negatively. Yeah, and a wise would help you after you roll.
My wise doesn't really apply to this role.
Okay.
So yeah, and you said it was Ob.
1.
One.
You have to get
Okay.
at least 1 success.
Woo!
Take that, weather. Nice.
So,
Take that, rain.
Mark a mark a pass for Pathfinder, and you remove 5 points of disposition from.
nice. Woo!
Spring is already at half health. Why is that important? For people playing at home, if you end a conflict with less than full disposition, I can force what's called a compromise, which means you get some, but not all of what you want. Kind of like rolling a 7 and 9 in Apocalypse World. That helps. The idea is that you could succeed at a cost, or you could fail at a little bit of a benefit. So you could succeed, like you could fail, but you might be in a good spot, or it could be like you fail and now you're surrounded by an angry bird or something like. Or you succeed, but a bird spots you, or like how it could build off each other. Or you could succeed, as we saw, conditional success, like conditionally. You could succeed, but everybody's tired from the journey, or something like that. These are all possibilities at the end of Mouse Guard. Okay, so that was a great roll. Now we do the maneuver test. You guys, we see the group going through. So to go to Caligaro, I imagine is through pretty rough wildlands. Some of it's open grass, other parts are heavy forest. I'll let you describe what part this kind of looks like, and you kind of paint this scene of what it looks like as you are preparing for the next leg of the journey and what that next leg is.
So we just got through the storm in like kind of hilly open territory.
Yeah, you see it in the distance, like the dark sky going the other way, and the rain shade going down, and now you have this new thing in front of you.
I do kind of want it to be woods, like a
Sure.
forested area that we're going into. Like, you kind of get the hilly, and then it gets a little hillier, and the trees slowly get denser as we head towards the coast.
Love it.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So this is weather watching as you keep an eye on the sky.
Okay.
Is it? That's not me telling you. That's me asking.
Yeah, well, that's my specialty,
Okay.
so I feel like that's what I would be doing. I would be...
Oh, yeah. Play to your strengths.
Okay.
Makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, so let me pull up my character sheet again. I have a question, because I picked weather watching as my specialty. Was I supposed to increase my rating by by 1? Okay, so I'm actually 3 and not 2.
Cool.
Cool.
Yep.
So that's 3. Am I rolling against anything?
You are, because I also chose maneuver, and this is spring's clouds and just capricious winds in general right now. It's possible another storm could come by, or it could get colder, that type of stuff. Just in general, or just broken branches, the mud, anything kind of here in your way to getting where you want, because there's no path right now. The path is sort of worn out to Caligaro. Okay.
If we can assist multiple people, I can assist you with weather watching as well.
You can. Yep, just like any other test, other people can help you. You also are treated with supplies.
Oh yeah, so that's 5, up to 5.
And I'm rolling 6 dice.
Okay.
This raindrop tastes weird.
And then if I wanted, could I use my nature? So if I wanted to do that, I would spend my persona.
Yes. You're doing what's called tapping your nature. You spend your persona to use that sort of well of strength that you have. Sometimes I describe it as going Super Saiyan. You get to add all of these extra dice. This is the part where you as a character of the story is like, this is the heroism of you shining through, right? You're tapping into that well of determination.
Okay. So if my nature is 5, I'm adding 5. I already have 5 die and I'm adding 5 more, so I'm up to 10.
Yeah, okay. It's a great roll.
What up? Well, it's a great probability, hopefully. Cross your fingers.
Just don't roll like me, you'll be fine.
Yeah, you could do a Rockford, and I was like, how?
Yep. So you're at 5 dice, you're tapping your nature, so you're gonna add 5 more dice.
And then it's what?
One
so this is
right.
up 1. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I got 4, and what do you get?
Wait, oops. I might have messed this up, but let's see.
No, that looks right. Yeah, you got 6. So you beat me by 2, which is cool. Also, I'm going to make a case for you on your behalf. This is the first session. When you tap your persona and you tap your nature, or when you use your persona to tap your nature, I should say specifically, you have to. There's a question of whether or not it's within your nature, right? Because if it's in your nature, once again, that's escaping, hiding, climbing, and foraging. Is this like that? And if it is, it doesn't lower your nature if you fail or by using it, by the nature of using it. I'm going to argue on your behalf for you that this is totally in your nature because you're literally escaping, climbing, and hiding from the weather.
From the weather.
Yeah. So I'm totally into it. So you have 2. So just to tell you, when you do maneuver, that marginal success that you got, those 2, can be spent on things. You have a little list of things you can spend, but with 2, you're kind of limited to probably like the best thing that you could do. For 1 point of the 2 successes, so like each of these costs a success, to give you an idea, or each of these costs a variable amount of success. I'll describe it in a second here, just so we know, because it's the first time we're ever seeing it on screen. When you have a maneuver, when you do a maneuver and you have this currency of successes to spend, for 1 success, you can give your opponent -1 die to the next thing. Okay. For 2 successes, you can give yourself or give the next person of your group +2 dice the next thing. And last thing, for 3 successes, you can do what's called disarming the other person. So say they have like claws, or in this case it's wind. You could basically describe how you are in the woods and taking a path that totally negates the wind. And for the rest of the conflict, I can't use wind as my ability to get extra dice and stuff. But for 2 successes, it makes sense to just get the 2 extra dice for this attack.
Dice, yes. We'll do that then.
Cool.
Do we have to remove our dispositions per turn?
No.
Okay.
I think at least as far as I think I'm hearing you right, that's what you're asking. You don't remove your disposition per turn, you remove it per volley.
Yeah, okay. Cool.
Yeah. Okay, so we are now going to the 3rd volley for this round here. And this is an attack versus an attack. And this is a cold breeze, like winter, one of winter's last grasps blows through, because as we make it out of the forest, we're probably going to the grassland to the shore. You can almost smell the air as it changes as we get closer to the salty sea. Yeah, and from that you also you lose the protection from that the cutting breezes. So this is an attack versus an attack. Attack versus an attack is an independent test. We both go into each other's dispositions when we attack. Even if you defeat me, I can still do damage.
Ooh, okay.
Okay.
So I've got a +2 dice, and attacking we do with Pathfinder, which is another 2 dice.
Mm-hmm.
And then what else can I use? Sorry, is it my nature or will or?
Well, you got supplies for the test.
Yep.
Every time you're doing a test, always I'm sorry I don't have it on this screen. I have it on the other one. There's your traits can give you help, like other helpers can give you extra dice.
Mm-hmm.
Your persona can give you dice. And of course, yeah, and your nature, yeah.
Okay.
And supplies.
Since I'm attacking, I'm not going to use cautious or anything like that, but I could use my tough trait, I reckon.
Yeah, if you want to use that for you or against you. Like, what does it look like when you use a trait? I always ask whenever you want to use a trait, rather than can I use this trait? Paint me the picture of why this trait is applicable.
So I'm thinking that as like the wind is blowing, you can see this cloak billowing, and Brandon tiredly not even bothering to pull it around him as he just weathers the storm. You know, like the very image of I don't know, sort of conjures images of Vikings standing on the helm of ships, or that sort of thing, as he stoically just toughs it out. So I'd be trying to use that as a bonus.
Totally. Okay. So give yourself an extra die.
100% lost count of dice. So I've got 2 for Pathfinder, 2 from Eddie. I've got 1 from
Eddie can also help you if that's possible. I'm sorry, I know you were doing math. I just spoke like an idiot.
That's okay.
Sorry.
It's okay. I had it on my fingers. I'm all good.
Okay.
I've got 1 from Tough, but I'm -1 because I'm tired.
No,
No?
that doesn't factor.
Doesn't factor. Brilliant. So I've got 5 still.
And I can help you as well.
Rockford would help you seeing the opportunity to correct you. Like, no. Oh, no. This is the right way to go. It's okay. You're old.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll accept the help from Little Timmy, but I've got a feeling Rockford is similarly going to get no. I know my ways. I know my ways.
That's fair.
All conditions other than injury or sickness never affect your die rolls. Only your disposition for these types of things.
Okay. So how is Timmy helping?
I can help. You're doing more pathfinding for us, right?
Yeah.
I have Pathfinder as well, or I can scout ahead and help because I'm small and nimble.
Cool. Yeah, I'll take the scouting definitely. Yeah. So 6 dice.
It sounds like it.
Yeah, sounds about right. Okay.
I'll be with Millie, and I'm trying to like keep her dry. Yeah.
Yeah. How much was your starting Pathfinder?
2.
Yeah. So 2 plus 3 help is 5. Supplies is 6. Your trait is 7.
7.
Yeah.
And the
That's the
difficulty.
last time I'm helping you.
Do I just put nothing down?
You do that shit on your own. You're players. I'm just kidding. You can always ask me for help. 4. 3.
I'll
Okay.
remember that in episode 10.
Yeah.
I'm just
You do 4
I'll
points of
play the
damage.
clip back. He said he'd always help us.
I will. I'm benevolent. Okay.
Ooh,
So you've done
Beat it
4
by
points
1.
of damage to me. You have slain it. So we're going to be the journey is going to be over at the end of it. However, I have cost you 3 points from my own because these are independent. Both of them happen. And there's certain cases where, say, if you fire a bow against somebody, you can make the attack be versus instead. So if it was versus, you would win by 1, rather than hit for 4, get hit for 3. If it was a versus test, you could be just hit for 1 and not take any damage. But obviously, you can't do that in a journey. So this happens. So you win. However, you have lost almost half of your disposition since the start. What this means is that I can enforce a compromise here. And I think what I'm going to do for a compromise is that through the journeys, through the cold, I think you're all tired if you aren't tired already. And for you, Brandon, I think now you are sick.
Ooh.
You take the sick condition from traveling through. And to make matters worse, as we make it to Caligaro, you see nestled near the lapping waves is a small little watchtower. Almost looks like a Trinity apartment, or like three apartments kind of stacked on top of each other up the little rocky cliffside. There's a little like lighthouse next to it. And then you see a couple other little houses around in the distance, the small town. However, you can also see dangerously close are a few moving rocks on the shore, specifically between the town and the willow tree where you want to go. As a little foreshadowing. But with that, you make it to Caligaro. Do you remember what you want to do here?
You want to bury the remains of our patrol leader.
Yeah. Is that it?
We also have to find that guy and give her cloak to him.
Yes.
Colm or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Colm.
Cool. I bring that up because my GM turn is over. It is now your turn, players. Each of you all have one check because no one's used traits against yourself negatively for things. So you all have one kind of scene to how to spend your check. Your mission has not been accomplished yet, so someone has to spend their check for that. Other options to spend your checks would be recovering conditions. Is also one, or pursuing another skill or something like that, or having a scene where you could fulfill your belief or fulfill your goal or fulfill your instinct are always good ones. Or work on a return project.
I would definitely use my check to get to the place. So make sure the cloak is transferred to the colon and also get the body buried. That is Rockford's focus at the moment.
Okay, so that would cost 2 checks to do both of those. So which of those is more important that you want to do?
Body is more important.
Okay, cool.
I was gonna say I'd probably go with Rockford, but I'm gonna use my check to have a conversation and try and address the differences in our thing. I'll be helping her. Yeah, helping her with the load and everything, you know, or him. Okay. Sorry, is Rockford? Right.
I think we'll all go to each of the different things if we want to go.
So
it's more about figuring out what we didn't want to do with our checks. So one of them is going to be to go to bring her body to where she wanted to be buried. Who wants to spend theirs on bringing the cloak? We can all go to each of these, though.
Yeah. Remember, when you spend a check, you get to say to the group, hey, I get to control the spotlight. That doesn't mean that no one else is in the spotlight with you. Mm-hmm. It just means that you get to dictate where the scene happens and stuff like that. And you're always entitled to a role when you do that in some form.
Yeah, so who would want to do the cloak one? Who wants to spend their check on the cloak?
There was just the 2 dying wishes, right? She wanted to be buried under the willow tree and the cloak to Cole.
Mm-hmm.
I will take the second part, trying to find Cole and get the cloak to him.
Okay. I would like to cook everyone a nice meal and to make sure everyone, specifically because Brandon is sick. Making him a special stew that I know always helps me when I'm sick. And then Brandon, what would you like to spend yours on?
Oh, definitely I'll be going in for a conversation with Rockford, trying to improve our relations.
I like it. So that's where we'd like to do it. I think we'd do the berry one first, though.
Okay. So Rockford would attempt to find the cemetery, for lack of a better thing, and find the right plot and everything.
We have to find the willow tree.
Oh, willow tree, that's what it was.
Mm-hmm. Okay. How would you like to do that? And what type of skill would that be? Do you think scout?
I think probably scout would be it.
Yeah, scouting out makes sense. Also, it's to avoid disrupting the sleeping crabs on the... So that makes sense.
Anybody crab-wise?
That is what the moving rocks are as you get close, as it gets up and scuttles around.
Anyone got rock-wise?
No, I am bee-wise.
I do have, if you're doing, what skill is she using?
Scout.
Scout. I can help with scouting. I also scout.
Okay, so right now we're at 3. Awesome.
Cool.
Anyone else can help, Boo?
I mean, do I have to?
I could probably throw in some scouting as well.
Yeah, I can tell you that what you're rolling against, and that might help inform you how much you want to put into this.
Sure.
A crab. I'm re-rolling 6 dice.
Okay. Already use my fate and persona. So could I apply the fearless trait to this?
Totally.
Okay.
What does that look like, though?
So Rockford, getting ready to walk up to this willow tree and seeing that these rocks are actually crabs, sort of goes into, again, like Rolodex mode, just like how to avoid crabs, how to avoid crabs, how to avoid crabs. And then like being like, okay, and then picking out the best way to sort of like, I imagine Rockford's even like doing like the sideways, that'll just like, I am blending in. I got this. We have nothing to fear from the crabs. I'm a master.
I love that. Oh, that's so good. Like, there's
And
nothing to
Timmy's
worry about.
like,
They're dumb
"What are you
crabs.
doing?"
Oh, what? This is how you get along with crabs. They all do this.
They go like this?
Yeah.
Okay. This feels
Read it in the
weird.
book, so it's true.
Why are we walking sideways? How do you see where you're going?
That's how you get in their head. You gotta move like a crab.
Okay.
For perspective, everybody, these crabs are like like 3 times as big, right? They're like a
Probably
giant
like
enemy
5
crab.
times as big as Timmy.
Yeah, right. They are giant boulders, like what you would think of like as a massive earth golem, right? Like they just like. You see the massive claws, like they're like a single claw of this crab here is literally like, it could fit 3 mice in it. Like it's big old crabs sitting here on the side. It's low tide.
Oh boy.
Could I use to assist? I don't know whether this would, I assume would be scout, like, yeah, like I'm willing to go first and like gently tap all the rocks. Like that one's not gonna make noise. Okay, this one's good.
Yeah, totally.
We're at 5 now. All right.
It's pretty good.
No. 5 for 6. I rolled terribly though.
That is true.
You could
But-
use more nature, or I don't know
I
if
already
you
used my persona for the round though, so I don't think I can do that again. I mean,
you did
hey,
get-
maybe
you did get-
maybe Eric will roll really bad. It's
I was gonna
fine.
say, we also have one reroll. Did you?
Yeah.
We donated a reroll.
That's true. That is true.
Badly,
So
you can.
There
There
is
you go.
there's historical precedent to me rolling really bad in Mouse Guard. So.
The other option is that you can just be like, I'm not going to succeed at this and purposely fail.
You can't earn a check in the player's turn though.
Oh, lame.
You can't,
Never
you
mind.
can't
Don't
go
do that.
infinite.
Don't do
Right.
that then.
Nope, that's fine. So
Not
yeah,
worth
no, so we'll do 5. 5 to your 6. That's what we're doing. It's fine.
All right.
We look exactly like crabs now. We'll be fine.
Okay.
Little
Timmy's
Timmy
not
sounds
convinced.
very uncertain.
Timmy's not certain this is going to work. But Timmy also doesn't know about water creatures, so sure.
I'm ready. Are you ready to
Oh,
roll?
okay. Hold on. I gotta get that all
Mhm.
up. So
I think it's always better when we roll at the same time.
yeah. Oh yeah. Sure. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, let's do it. We tie.
Oh, tie. We are crabs.
Crabs!
You remember you could use that failure reroll
Yes, I can.
before we get into anything else.
I rolled actually pretty good for me.
Yeah.
I will use that reroll though. Thank you, chat.
Yeah. Let's do that.
No. Okay.
No.
Roll 3.
Cool. Well, it's not over yet. When you
Do we have
tie,
crabs or are we crabs? That is the question.
We
So-
are the crabs.
right. So they clearly shuffle around and move, and one of them sort of blocks your path and has that. Do we all know what like crab eyes look like? Like how dumb they look? Like they literally look like they have like that goat sort of like unscrupulable like antenna eye. Like they just, I mean, well, that's weird because goats don't have antenna eyes, but like that sort of like squarey thing. And yeah, they just do that sort of like, you know.
Yeah, they can look in multiple directions.
Yeah, and one of them just does it, and it doesn't even look like it's looking at you, but you know it's looking at you, and it's really nervous, and it's like gotten up, and it's not necessarily threatening you yet, but it's in this really precarious spot of it's like, oh, it
It's
could threaten me.
standing
if
in
it-
our way.
Yeah, they're kind of like they kind of like shuffle around in a way that's like really disadvantageous to you, but that's all just color as what we do is now as a tiebreaker roll. I'm going to roll my nature again because that's what you do as an animal.
Sure.
But your turn, because you're using scout, you're going to roll health, and you're going to use health versus nature for a tiebreaker. This counts. This will count as a separate test for purposes of advancement. So your health would get a pass or fail on this too.
Okay. All right.
So checking 6 dice. 4. My dice have been really good to me today.
That's not good.
Why is it I doing that thing?
It'll be fine. We got this. No, can I do
No,
It'd be crab bait.
that is a failure.
Oh no,
Crab
that
meat?
Do we have to fight
It'd
a
be
crab
crab meat.
now?
You will have to fight the crabs.
Oh no.
As the consequence to failure here, I'm going to invoke what's called a twist. I can do either a conditional success or a twist. And right now, I think it's more fun for us to have a quick little fight with the crabs. So this is going to be a fighter conflict, or excuse me, not a conflict, a single fighter test. As you all have to do battle with the crabs as 2 of them sort of like begin to, I don't want to say pincer you, but
It's
one's
getting
behind you
really
and one's above you.
close.
And they kind of like just inadvertently kind of like want to see what's going on and what's moving around them. Yeah, and they're like,
I'm gonna like move my little paws into the side of my thing and pull out my weasel.
their crab mandibles are like super close to you, and their eye stalks are like reading what you are. Like you're not a crab, kind of thing,
Yeah.
right? And then it's your chance to strike. You don't have this is it. Jig's up. Oh
no.
A temporary loss solution.
okay.
Are you still there?
You there?
Crab snipped my internet. Clearly.
Oh no.
God damn it! It was super effective.
Yeah.
But so Rockford will say before we start the fight, just like, oh, I may have forgotten that I may have been doing the crab mating dance instead of just. Honest mistake. It'll be fine. Get your sword.
I don't think they want to mate with us.
As I'm holding
so
out
good.
my weasel knives.
Yeah. Cool.
Rockford's never wrong. He's just not right yet.
So, Rockford, you have to lead this role because it is your failure.
Dang it. Okay, and it's fighter.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no!
Everyone
I'm
can help with fighter. Everyone can help with fighter.
I only have 2.
Yeah.
Oh, that's like the one thing that I'm really good at.
I can help with fighter. I'm good with fighter.
I can help with fighter though, for sure. I can help you.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're up to 4. I will take everybody's help. This is life or death.
It's 6 dice again.
All right. Could I recall the epic battle of Fargo, the stout-hearted, against the tide of crabs that attacked Rustleaf one very terrible spring season ago? Could I use that story as inspiration in our fight against these crabs today?
You don't have Fate Persona to give you the
Dang it!
impetus for it.
Ah!
Yes.
Oh,
But this is why you
no.
play your character. Yes, this is good. These are all things that are I want to see more of, but unfortunately you are tapped out of you're out of gas.
All I have is knives,
You're out
Lord
of narrative.
Conti.
Out of PC gas. Yeah.
Dang it. Oh well. Yeah, so 4. So 4 versus 6.
Yeah.
I guess
Mhm.
that roll well.
So just so you know, in this fight, death isn't I don't think I'm not gonna be cruel enough to say death is on the line in a single roll here. But injuries on the line or worse narrative outcomes are also on the line.
I was gonna say, luckily,
Hey, I
crabs
only
aren't-
have one ear. If you want to take the other one, you can have it.
They
Did
are
ours
crabs.
have fighter?
Well, crabs are scavengers. They're not hunters.
Yeah, but you have something that they might want.
Oh, that's true. We do have a dead body with us.
No, that's
It's probably pretty stinky by this point.
Yeah.
It's been a couple weeks.
Actually, you're like it would not be stinky now, but it would have been stinky the first couple days.
Okay.
This the scientists they have stuff that from spruce tuck that basically embalm or that kind of stuff.
Poured salt all
Wait.
over it.
Can I be calm in the face of this danger?
Yeah.
Yeah, but what does that look? I mean, there's a giant. Once again, like giant.
I am
like,
not calm.
school
I just
bus,
pulled out my
like to
needle.
us, it's the size of a school bus, right? Sized monstrosity made out of hard chitin in front of you. Being
That's
calm
fair.
here.
Maybe
is
you told a story,
absolutely
Rockford.
great.
That's what
Right,
keeps
that's
you
the
calm.
thing. So while I can't use persona, I think Rockford still sort of like recites that battle and
Yeah.
assumes an anti-crab stance described in the scroll that Rockford read.
Maybe
There's no picture. We will draw
I
pictures of it.
love that.
maybe Rockford also knows the weak spots to tell everybody where to attack.
Yeah, for massive
So-
damage.
Something like this.
Underbelly.
Eyes. You can hit him in the eyes. I have a sling. I have a slingshot.
Oh, true.
Oh yeah. Awesome.
All right, so
Take out
5.
their eyes.
Cool. And I'm rolling 6 dice.
Okay.
Crab battle.
The crab
Yes!
off.
Yes!
Worth it.
We all scuttle
I like
away.
darn mating
You-
dance.
You I will allow you to paint success, but you don't kill a crab. Crabs are too big to be killed, but you could
That's
easily drive them away.
All right, that is totally fair, and I want to make sure I used it for mark that I used those traits for. So Rockford encouraging everybody to do the weird anti-crab stance. Just start sort of like jabbing at legs, kind of like trying to like herd them
Am I
away.
doing it right?
You don't want to be here anymore.
It's good. It works.
Weirdly enough.
You know, I know the skeptical Brandon among you can't believe it,
The only one not
But
doing it.
but it genuinely works. You're like a leaf on the wind to these crabs as they try to come down. and
Brandon's
you're just
probably
too
like the
fast.
last one to do it, but he sees that it's working and he's like, okay, I guess.
It's super good. Yeah, see, you beat me. Cool. And you're able to
Really?
get away from the crabs, right? The crabs get you're like, oh, my food's attacking me. All right, fine. Like, oh, I hate it when my food fights back. All right, fine. And they just go off. Yeah, cool. So you have thwarted my crab puzzle. And yeah,
I
you
put
have
the weasel knives away and I'm like, next time remember which one's the mating one and which one's the fighty one.
My mistake, honest mistake. That was my bad. But now we are all amongst the likes of Fargo,
What the heck is Fargo?
the mouse who beat the. We won. It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
I'll tell you about it some other time. I'll tell you when you're older.
He's like shaking his head like, what just happened?
Oh, that's so good. Awesome. So yeah, like tone wise, we have the moment of you all burying Daisy here under the tree that you wanted. In fact, while you're here, near this tree, you spot a little post near it, and it says "Future Home of Daisy."
Oh.
Oh, Timmy just starts bawling. Timmy's a mess.
Eddie wants to like pull Brandon aside and say, I know it isn't guard tradition, but it seems like it was the right thing to do, you know, for Daisy.
I agree. But and I'm not saying we did the wrong thing at all. I'm glad with where we got. But you know what took Daisy in the end? Wasn't weasels or some excursion out along the scent border or any other thing. It was disagreement between two tenderpaws. Got involved in that, and essentially the thing that in my eyes ended Daisy's time as a patrol guard was a lack of respect. Now I've got a lot of respect for the mouse guard, and I got a lot of respect for Daisy, so I guess this one was pretty tight. And of the two, I sided with mouse guard and with Gwendolyn. I don't blame you for siding with Daisy's wishes, but well, here we are.
That's fucking good.
Well, if this were a matter that affected all Mousekind, I would understand your decision. But this was a matter that affected our patrol leader personally. This was a single mouse we were worried about, and you sided with the group when it was unnecessary and illogical. I do not agree, and I never will.
Well, do you know what, Rockford? I appreciate and respect that. I appreciate that you've got them strong moral roots and that strong founding in logic. But lots of little transgressions, you must know, you've studied the histories, little transgressions are important. They can add up.
They can add up to something great or something bad. I like to think we're part of something great, but you don't agree.
Not that I don't agree, I just think that, you know, the Mouse God, I take the oath very seriously, that's all.
She was too young to die. She was even younger than Brandon.
Only the good die young. Looking pointedly at Brandon.
I never said I was good.
And we understand each other.
I'll tell you what, Rockford, look, I'll stop giving you a hard time with all my lecturing if you try and go easy on this old mouse every now and again. How does that sound to you?
I respect your willingness to compromise.
Well, I guess that went about as well as I thought it would.
So it
That's
seems
still
like
barrier leader.
yeah. Does anyone else want to say respects under the willow of our fallen
Little
patrol?
Timmy is like making a little heart out of daisies around the spot. Still crying.
Sure.
Like Eddie wouldn't say anything out loud, but she might like go and sit and like have a private moment, internal thoughts about it. Like, she didn't know Daisy for very long, but for that short period of time, a really important person in your life.
That's good.
Rockford seems a little sad, but isn't looking at the grave, sort of looking towards whichever way to the horizon would be, kind of like this has happened
Like
and we
the
have to
water.
move forward. Yeah, probably looking out over the water.
Mm-hmm. It's a very pretty spot for what it's worth. It's very sweet. Who else has a check?
I suppose I have a check. We sort of already did it a little bit. I suppose I could roll a persuade on Rockford. That's
Sure.
Are you trying to hold on, before you say like I want to persuade and stuff like that? What is describe for me your intention?
So like when I think I'd sort of wind it back a bit to when I said about hey,
Disagreements
I'll try and stop lecturing you all the time if you try and let up on this old mouse a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And that'd be where I'd be throwing in that.
It sounds like you already did it and you already agreed, but did you want to make a persuade test for this to see if you learn from it, or would you rather spend your check on something else? So I would allow that. I
don't know. Like, Alicia, did I pick up right that like it didn't go the best?
No, Rockford did
Yeah.
not agree. Rockford acknowledged that you were willing to compromise. That's what Rockford did.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm not trying to change Rockford or their disposition. I'm just, It sounds like I was sort of successful, I guess.
Okay. Well, if you wanted to, the way you do persuade against somebody is persuade versus their will. It's a versus test. So it'd be, if you wanted to, Rockford, you can't like mind control somebody by doing that. But if you would win that persuade contest, you would, Rockford would at least see the merits of your side, at least like temporarily, in terms of like, I see what you're doing there and stuff. Doesn't mean they have to agree to anything long term, but like they see your point of view.
Yeah. Now, the thing is, I'm sort of looking at my stats, or having looked at them after deciding that this is the thing that I'd try and do. I have nothing in Persuader. I also have the trait Stoic, which I think is only going to hurt me in this and make it harder to accomplish. So at the moment, I'm at -1 dice.
Yeah, you're also sick and...
Yeah, and I'm sick and everything, so like, basically, I guess, I basically just hand Rockford a bunch of successes, like...
Yes, you can fail it. That's
yeah.
good.
I fail it. Yeah, I fail.
Cool. I mean, it should be noted that you should roll, but if you want to mark a failure for a persuade, that's fine too.
I mean, so
I think it's fictionally appropriate.
What would I roll? Because I've only got like minuses to everything. I don't actually have any. I don't think.
Oh, that's true. Well, then you would just roll, and it would be considered a fail. Yeah, never mind. Okay.
Yeah.
You're right, because you can't even get to 1 die.
Yeah,
so
no, I can't even.
You're 1. Yeah. Okay.
So does that count as
zero.
a
It's
pass
less. It's
for
like less
will
than 0.
for me?
It does. It does count as a pass for will. Yes.
Okay.
So it counts as pass for will for you. Awesome. It counts as a failure for you. So you can mark. Yeah. Words for Brandon. So you can go ahead and mark a failure there. Your persuade is 2, right? Brandon?
No, I've got none. No persuade.
Oh, then it's just an attempt. So cool. So either mark that in passes or fails, just somewhere along the line where now the number when you have a number of passes or a number of attempts equal to your maximum current nature, you learn the skill. So having a lower nature means it's easier for you to learn skills.
We're just power leveling Rockford. It's fine.
Yeah, you are power leveling Rockford, which is great.
Ultimate power!
I'm actually really good at manipulating.
Cool.
But okay at persuading.
Oh, I had 2 in manipulator. I didn't look that low down.
Yeah. Because I'm relentless and you failed that and you've introduced it. Yeah.
You could have used manipulate in that sense.
No, here's the thing. I'm going to be a little mean and introduce a twist because you failed here. Brandon. In the fight, like you're walking back, you misplaced something. You misplaced your hunting knife. In the scuffle. That is the failure for persuading. It's going back, realizing that, wait a second.
No.
Yeah. And you have no more checks to find it. So, cool. Who else? Who else wants to go?
Do we want to go get the cloak? Bring the cloak next?
Yeah, let's go do that.
Okay.
I think like Eddie and Timmy are standing over her grave, and Timmy like stands up and like puts his hand on the cloak that Eddie's holding.
Yeah. What color is it?
Maybe like a soft green.
Yeah.
With
Not
little
like-
patches on it.
It's a well-loved cloak.
Yeah.
Like her family look like they put patches on it.
Yeah. Totally.
For everyone who has owned the cloak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And hers was a daisy patch.
So you want to go find Cole?
We'll go find Cole. Presumably lives in this town.
This is a circles test.
Okay.
This is a Ob 1 circles test to find them.
Two. So can I,
Other people can help, yeah. But this is basically you showing up, yeah. This isn't very difficult considering the facts that the circumstances. It's a very small town. It's literally like less than 20 people, less than 20 mice live here. When a patrol shows up, people are going to take notice. So it's Ob 1.
Okay.
Have you been to Calgaro before, Eddie?
Yeah.
My cat is helping. Betty just shakes her head. No, I've never been this far north before. Only heard of it.
How will we find Colm?
Guess we could just go ask.
Oh no, there's a cat! Watch out! I guess that works.
And Timmy will help ask people things.
Yeah.
Be
Okay.
cute.
That
Tiny.
kitty.
Yeah.
What are you doing? He's leaving. That's what he's doing.
Oh, classic cats.
Anyways, so we're gonna go into town. At least me and Timmy. I don't know if anybody else wanted to come.
Yeah, Rockford will come. Why not?
Rockford comes too. Is Rockford helping, or is Rockford just there for moral support?
Yeah, sorry, what was this test again? It was.
What's the
It's a circles
circles test? We're going into town. We're asking around because neither of us have ever been here. We don't know anybody, so we're just asking around for Cole. But it's a very small
sure.
town,
Yeah.
so there's not a whole lot of people to ask. If he's
Mhm.
here, probably be easy to find.
As an archivist, when I've studied all the various towns such of our great mouse land, but I know they have a general idea of the way.
That's what circles is for.
Nah,
Yes.
fair. All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, Rocker would help as well. Okay. Pick up.
Okay, so that's 4.
Yeah. It's like, how much do you know offhand about Belfast, Maine? some podunk tiny ass little town in the middle of nowhere. Colagero is a very, very small, remote, quaint little town in the territories.
Yeah. No, it's fair.
But yeah, so yeah, you ask around. Cool. So I think you have 1, 2, 3, 4 extra dice.
You don't know if Brandon's helping or not. No? Okay.
Brandon's sick. He's tired. He tried making amends with someone. He's done. He's done. Just sitting up in a corner somewhere coughing.
Oh, is that what you were trying to do?
Hey. Okay. So this is like a scene.
That's the
Like-
5
like-
people who live here test.
That's a successful circles roll. So what this looks like is you begin to ask around, and Cole's not immediately available. You hear that he's out. He's returning. It should be here any moment or the next few minutes from Frostic, delivering some mail over there. You know that Cole is one of the 2 tenanted guards here in Calagero of the whole town. The other one's named Sadie, and she's the one who tells you that. And Sadie, what would be the sign of respect for when she gets the news? This is the first news that she heard that Daisy's passed away. What is the proper? Is it how I imagine there might be some kind of mouse guard thing. Is it like a genuflect? Is it do you take off your cloak for a moment, or is it like like, or do you drape your cloak to the side as like a sign? Like, what is it? This isn't like a canonical quiz question. This is genuinely what you think, what it looks like.
My version.
Is it like put your hood up? Like, what is the sign of like loss? Is it just a hug?
I have an idea.
Yeah.
you need
What's
Hear
it?
it.
Yeah.
We put our hands on like our badge on our cloak, and
Yeah.
we put our heads together, like our foreheads together.
Yeah. When you hear the news for that stuff, yeah, Sadie immediately just sobs. It's just sobs, like inconsolably.
This makes Timmy cry.
Yeah.
Timmy starts crying too.
It's like this very solemn guard thing just turns into a group hug.
Yeah, very much. I didn't know her as much as you did, but the few times she was up here, she was an inspiration for us all. It breaks my heart to someone would. Just a terrible way to go, and just an accident. Thank you is what she tries to say, but she can't even. It breaks halfway through as she just sobs.
Rockford, out of his pack of many things, will pull out a couple little Kleenex size leaves and hand him over.
Yeah. Thank you. And then in comes Cole. After a long minute, you probably were all sitting around drinking some tea, waiting for Cole to return. And Cole sees this sight. Everyone's eyes a little red and dreary, and he comes in and says, "Well, what's got the sad news? Weather's turning." As he's like taking off his wet cloak and like hanging it up to dry, and has no idea. Sadie doesn't reply, looks to you for permission and see who says it.
I don't know that Eddie says it, but Eddie walks up with the cloak, which I guess would probably be recognizable since they're kind of all individual, and just hands it to him.
Yeah.
And then maybe says something just like, I'm sorry.
He rejects it. He's like, no, I can't take that. I can't. And he begins to leave, doesn't even grab his own cloak. He, not run away, but it's like, I no, this is a hard.
Rockford will grab Cole.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Look, I know this is sad news.
He begins to breathe heavily.
That's okay. Nice deep breaths. It's okay. In and out. In and out. We can't change.
His knees buckle.
Okay, Rockford will very awkwardly kind of grab him. It's sort of kind of grab him with one arm and then try and slide the giant pack off back and let Cole kind of lay on that as a makeshift pillow.
Full pots and pans.
There's he
fluffy pillow.
He feebly points to the writer desk nearby and just points that way, and it doesn't take you long to go to a drawer, and in there is a letter from last year. You see the seal of it is the same patch sort of seal, clearly from Daisy. It's already been opened, and he just kind of sits down and expects you to kind of look it over, and it's a
I'm gonna make us all some fruit salad.
He goes and about to make.
Daisy wishes that she could have been in Cole's life more, but as a mother and a guard, she never had the opportunity, but she wanted you to know that she's intended to purchase a plot of land in Caligaro to be here closer to you, because I know you're stationed here. And you didn't know that Cole was her son. she didn't really like to talk about it.
That's it. So Rock
Yeah.
will kind of just awkwardly look from the paper to Cole, like, oh.
I think Eddie goes over and doesn't try to hand the cloak to Cole again, but like puts a hand on his shoulder or his arm or something like that, and is like, it was her last wish that you would have the cloak after her.
I mean, he's just like wipes some tears away and thank you.
Kimmy comes back with the bowls of salad,
Yeah.
puts them down in front of everyone.
Yeah.
It's always made her happy.
I have a better idea, he says. Does anybody have any weaving supplies? As he
Rockfoot will go dig back into the giant bag and pull out
I
like
got a spatula. I got a pan. I got a cup. I got a spoon.
Each
You just
patch
pull
of
out
this
a bunch of
cloak-
cooking supplies.
I've got a sewing kit.
Each
That
patch
seems more useful.
was laid by family and those she cared about. To be continued.
She always said every new mouse that had the cloak would put their own patch on. Maybe you should make your own.
He just shakes.
What's
and-
something that means a lot to
We got a
you?
new friend.
Oh, thank you, Laura Lania, for that massive 32,000 raid. Welcome, raiders.
Oh, you're in the most heartfelt moment of a poor mouse child learning that his mother passed away.
Yeah, we're having the feels over here.
Yeah. And ostensibly, quietly, without saying anything, you help him fashion the cloak, and in the form of it is a daisy
Aw.
to remember her by, and he does it out of his cloak. A part of it, and I think he probably, this is the scene that happens as you are it's the following day or something like that, and you're standing once again above the grave of Daisy, and he's handing over his old red cloak to you and says, "Can you take this back to Gwendolyn for me? I'm sure she'll understand." Put it up to the Hall of Heroes.
yeah, something.
Give it to a tender paw. Something. He says,
Stashed
I
away.
don't. Yeah.
Sure, got it.
We probably want to patch
He's
that
wearing the
hole,
new cloak.
though.
He's wearing Daisy's cloak now. I don't know what to say to you all. You are so. It's the hardest burden you must have carried up here. And he looks out over the water.
Well, the harder the burden, or heavier the burden you carry, the stronger you'll be going forward.
I sure hope that's true. It's the start of a new year, and based on the last two, we could use all the strength that we could get.
You have to do whatever you can to survive.
He puts his arm across his right to left shoulder and does the sort of guard salute of guard prevails.
Guard prevails.
Guard prevails.
And Brandon will probably, I think he's going to reach into his cloak, and somewhere in there'll be a small bottle of heavily overproofed elderflower cordial.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a cordial. Of course you carry a freaking cordial, and it's elderflower. That's amazing. Yeah.
Which, yeah, and he'll just offer some to this
Totally.
poor boy.
Totally. He'll take a little bit. Awesome. Cool. Checks. Who else has checks?
I have a check.
Yeah.
I'm
How
gonna
would you
make
like-
some soup.
That's cool. Oh, that's so good. That's like the best way to end the scene of just like everybody coming together for a big old
Yeah,
meal.
some nice
Totally.
warm soup.
Eat our feelings.
Funeral
Yeah.
take two.
Yeah, the salad was like to start things off, and little Timmy rushes over, and I guess like does Sadie and Colin live together? Is that what it looks like?
Yeah. There's a the big like trio house is basically the Mouse Guard Watchtower house. It's rather than like a keep or anything like that here. It's just like that's where the Mouse Guard in residence lives, and right now there's 2.
I think we could all use a nice bowl of fresh veggie soup. What do you all say? And I think it'll help you with your cold there, Brandon. I saw you sniffling. I don't care how stubborn and old you are. You're sicker than a mouse in the rain.
I've been a mouse in the rain. I'm not that sick. I'll be fine.
Well, actually, the longer you take to fix your cold, the worse it's gonna get, and then you could possibly die.
Yeah,
Act.
let's not have that happen.
I mean, I'm not saying I'm not gonna eat the soup. I'm just saying I'm not sick. That's all.
But
It's
you are.
probably best you don't help us make the soup because, okay.
And Timmy goes off to make the most delicious soup ever. Well, we'll find out if it just makes if it just makes Brandon more sick, or if it makes him feel better.
Rockford's
So,
actually over there with his hand trying to touch Brandon's forehead, and then Rockford's own is like a temperature difference.
So this is an OB3 cook test because you're cooking for the whole group.
Okay.
You're getting supplies because this place is well stocked.
I also have my own supplies.
Oh, well, even better. Okay. Still 1 die.
So 1 die for that. And then my cooking
It's 2.
is
I think.
I have 3 in cooking.
Oh, okay.
Because I have I get it from my
Specialty.
family
Or-
too.
Oh, family. Oh, yeah,
I
cool.
could actually assist you with that if you wanted. Cooking.
Okay. 5.
Yeah, well, actually, hold on, let me confirm. Did you because you get the skills from both your parents, or you pick one?
I got fighting from my dad.
Okay.
So
Gotcha. Yeah, so we're good. Yeah, I can help you.
my mom is brewer. Or I got cooking from my background or 2 of the other things.
It's okay.
And then I'm trying to see if there's anything else. I don't think anything else fits with it. So I guess 5. I can use my nature, you said, but I don't really think I need to. So we'll just go with that. Anyone else is assisting?
Do you have a trait?
I don't think I have a trait that fits this, unless quick-witted fits. But
No.
I don't think
Something like
so.
compassionate or something like that, maybe.
No.
Okay.
Cool. I have an instinct
sec.
though.
It doesn't give you any dice.
Cool. Then I will roll this then.
Mm-hmm.
What are you testing?
Yep. So OB3.
Oh,
You can re-roll the failure though, right?
I can
different.
reroll a failure. So reroll 1d
6 greater than 4.
greater than 4.
Nice.
Hey, there you go. You don't have to. It's not a tie because it's a single obstacle. So to beat it is you just have to match it, and you do. So thank you, chat. You just
And I
saved
got
the
2
day.
crits. I have 2 6s.
Yeah, it's not blades.
I know.
You-
Wow.
Awesome. So yeah, so we all have, and that's the last check, right?
Yeah, if you're watching Timmy's like slicing like carrots and they're flying in the air, and he just like slides a bowl in, and they just like fall elegantly into the bowl, and then he like tosses the bowl in the air, and like the things fall out of it into the soup, and he quickly catches it and throws it off to the side, and does the same thing with all the other vegetables until it stews, and it smells delicious all throughout the little tree trunk that we're in.
Yeah. And so you all have a nice hearty bowl of soup. I think fictionally you should recover hungry and thirsty. Anybody who has it as well. I'm also generous. But that's just a very sweet scene. And I put you all through a lot today for our first session ever of Mouse Guard. And that's where we end today in terms of play. Now, or we're not done just yet. We do experience. At the end of every session, you do experience. You do this by kind of reviewing what happened in play in a couple select ways. So the first thing we're going to do together is I'm going to ask you the question, and you all can just answer in terms of as soon as you feel comfortable, and just jump in when you're ready. The first one is: did you play to your belief, or did you play to your belief and realize it's wrong? It's so wrong that you no longer believe it anymore, and in fact, you believe the opposite.
I absolutely played to my beliefs. Like, going back,
Remind us your belief for the first.
Oh, so my belief is with the right tools and knowledge, any problem can be solved. That anti-crab stance totally worked 100%.
Yeah.
Solved the problem.
Yeah. You earned a fate point for next session.
I think in line with that, my belief is everyone should do whatever they must to survive. And I played along with the crab thing, even though I didn't think it would work.
Yeah. you literally said your belief, if I recall correctly. Yeah, totally.
But I don't think that counts. Saying it doesn't mean that.
No, not at all. But that is definitely.
But I thought it was perfect for what he was saying.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's exactly. That's good. Writing beliefs in a way that you think your character would say them is absolutely encouraged. So that was great. Yeah, totally. Who else?
I think I did, because mine was everyone can do even just a small part to help the larger whole.
Yeah. Where do you think you embodied that? I mean, like, I'm not saying you did. I think it happened several times.
I was just saying in general, when anything happened, even if it was like, well, I can't help much, but let's see what I can do, and test rocks or send Millie out, or, even if it wasn't like a huge help and it didn't make the difference, it was still helping.
Totally. Sure. Yeah. Fate point. And,
so my belief is that oaths are not taken lightly. Every guard must embody the oaths to the best of their ability. Sometimes you must perform unsavory acts to serve the greatest good. And I think I roleplayed that. I stuck to my guns pretty hard.
You did, and in fact, you. In a weird way, you did embody that belief by going with the group and being like, you did serve the greatest good for that after all. And yeah, totally. Fate point.
Thank you.
That was so good. Yeah. Cool. Next up is goals. If you accomplish your goal, you earn persona. If you worked towards your goal, you get fate. If you didn't do anything with your goal, you get nothing. So once again, whoever's ready to go, tell us the goal, and then, yeah.
Mine was to ensure the safety of those around me, and I think, again, I immediately was willing to pull out my weapons to help.
Yeah.
I don't know if that counts.
You described that first. I mean, you the first part with the crabs, you immediately had your blades out.
Yeah.
Or when we knew we were going to fight, yeah, totally. Yeah, and you defended them physically. Yeah.
Even though we didn't need it.
Yeah.
I took easy goals, so yes, it was accomplished.
Yeah.
I got buried, and the cloak was delivered.
Take that persona.
My goal was to try and make sure everyone is satisfied with Daisy's final arrangements, which I don't think I necessarily succeeded in, since Brandon wasn't really satisfied in the end. But I did try. I gave it the old college effort. Tried to convince him.
Brandon wasn't dissatisfied,
Yeah.
He's very much a mouse that gives his opinion at the beginning, but then will go along with the greater good, so.
I think
took
once we
Cole?
got there, he did change. He semi-changed his mind in that regard, right?
Yeah.
Like what he said to Rockford made it seem like he agreed that this was the right thing to do, even though he didn't agree before.
Well,
Brandon.
Rockford's thing was, was since we were going against the authority of the guard. That seemed to be his main issue. Like if this would have, especially in front of other people, like if this would have been at the same break or something, I think it would have been different. But
Yeah.
Which leads neatly into my goal, which was to protect Gwendolyn's established position as the leader of the guard.
Yeah. Okay. So I feel like you got persona there. Especially because I imagine you're the one carrying the cloak back too, right? I kind of picture that in my brain that you're the one carrying it, Brandon. But I don't know who's carrying. Yeah, Cole's red. Yeah. For some reason in my head I think it's red. Who's carrying his cloak?
Nobody. The last Rockford did.
Eddie was the last person to have the cloak.
But it makes sense for Eddie to have it, honestly, since
we're talking about Cole's cloak that we're bringing back to Gwendolyn, not Daisy's cloak, right? I don't know that we ever decided who he handed it to. He just asked us and we agreed.
Okay. That was my bad. In my mind, I felt like I was talking to Brandon, but it could be anybody. I'm cool with anybody.
It doesn't matter, honestly.
I mean, we're all gonna go. We're all gonna take it
honor,
together.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Okay. Yeah, I like that. Cool. Yeah. And Eddie got persona for their goal. And that's all goals. And then instincts. You get fate if your instinct came into play.
I definitely did mine. Always cook delicious things in my free moments.
Yep. 100%.
Mine was always keep the team motivated. I feel like I failed horribly with that with Brandon. So I don't know if I can really count it.
I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think you did. Yeah, unfortunately. That's fine though.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's not normal to get everything all the time, right?
Yeah,
it's totally cool to get like 2 or 3. Okay.
Yeah.
My instinct was I will make myself useful to my patrol. Feel like I was useful. What do we get for if we succeeded? Fate. Okay.
Yeah, that was good.
I don't know if I managed mine. Mine was always stays alert and watchful for danger.
The answer to that question is typically, did your instinct result in you making a test?
No, I was gonna use it in our conflict against the weather, but
yeah,
attacking seemed to make more sense at the time.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Cool. So then our base session things are done. The last things we got to do are group awards. These are all persona worthy awards. There's 3 of them. The first one is MVP. This is the person who did the most significant role of the evening, the real like clutch role of the night. The second one is workhorse. Workhorse is the person who supported and helped the team the most, who may not necessarily did the most roles, but was kind of always involved a lot. And then the last one is embodiment. Embodiment is not necessarily given to one person. It can be given to more than one person, but just not the whole group. That's a person who played their character, their conditions the most. And I'm really dreading voting on that one. Okay.
I think the first one is probably Rockford.
Yeah, that's
Rockford had the crab thing. Rockford stood up for us with Gwendolyn, and
yeah,
Rockford led us.
Rockford MVP.
Hell yeah, Alicia. Yeah, crushed it.
Like a rock.
Yeah, cool. Cool. The next one is workhorse. It means Alicia Rockford is ineligible for workhorse because you got MVP.
No, that's fair. I actually workhorse. I was gonna say Timmy, because Timmy, I don't think there is a role you didn't help with this session.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, that's a good point,
I think
actually.
I helped with all of the roles. I was gonna say that Eddie would be good for that too, because Eddie was also super, super duper helpful.
Also valid, yeah.
You literally made a check to make soup for everybody.
It's probably not the most useful thing to use a check for.
No, you recovered a bunch of people's hungry and thirsty conditions, and it was such a good scene. Like that's what you do after like consoling and stuff. Is like you're hungry, and like that is so good. It's you made literally like chicken soup for the soul. You know, like you made
I love chicken soup for the soul.
like you made everyone feel good. That was such the right call. That was so good.
Little Timmy soul soup. Oh.
Embodiment. I'm definitely gonna nominate Brandon.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you were stubborn AF.
Well, I think that, but I thought your conversation with Rockford and your moments about like at the grave were just like that was fucking powerful. That was for me. That was very good. I really like that. And I think it showed a lot about your character because, like, you know, we started being like, oh, the first roll ever of Mouse Guard, I'm gonna roll against my fellow player, and then by the end of it, you're like, you know, like you have that nice heart to heart, and that is some dope. That is why I play games right there. Like that's some good stuff right there, right? So
yeah, I like inner party conversations a lot.
Yeah,
plenty more where that came from.
So it's
what do we get for those things?
These are all persona. MVP, workhorse, and embodiment are all persona. You don't have to be the only one who gets it.
And then, sorry, can you say the exact description of embodiment again?
Sure. It's someone who plays their character up to a hilt. It's a character who embodies their like really like who they are as a character. If they played up their conditions, typically is also a big part of it. But really, like we saw the true like side of so and so today. Like we really like got like, yeah, this was about you. Like we saw everything about you today.
Yeah, I think Brandon was the best one for that.
It doesn't have to be just Brandon for this reward. It can be up to it can't be everyone, but it can be up to 3. If you think there's somebody who shouldn't get it tonight, or someone who'd be willing to take one for the team and say, I'm not going to get it tonight if others want it. But otherwise,
and y'all can, because everyone did a really great job.
I know everyone did a really good job. It was
a wonderful little mix of people. I really enjoyed. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right then.
So y'all can get. What did they get for the last one?
Persona. Those are all persona.
So everybody can get persona except for me.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that.
Alicia froze again.
Yeah, I know, but I like that she's frozen like this. Like, yeah. The approval froze.
Yeah.
Is it dead? No.
I'm not a fat mouse, though. I'm the tiniest of all the mice, but I do eat a lot.
Yeah, I think you're back.
The internet today. Yeah, I can hear you. I have no idea what's going on.
No problem.
You were just frozen like thumbs up for a little while there.
Yeah, it was great. Like my frozen is like your frozen is like.
So you got Alicia, Rockford got persona for embodiment.
Okay, got it.
So you should cool. So now we are finished. We are finished with the decompression / experience part of the evening. Hey, welcome to Mouse Guard. Welcome to the Guard Prevails. I got to say the title in the show at the sad part.
That's the sad part.
I didn't even notice. That just washed straight over me. It was such a moment.
Yeah.
Like, damn.
Yeah. What do you all think?
I love it.
I love it.
I want to play more.
Yeah.
The first time I got to play Mouse Guard, I was like, I want to play this forever.
Yeah,
Little Timmy is inspired by that first campaign.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll find out about his history.
Tragic backstory.
Oh yeah. His backstory is dark. Mouse Guard is dark. I mean, if today wasn't dark enough for you, it gets darker.
I mean, yeah, but like yours is a different kind of dark. You know, this one was just like sad dark. Yours is like tragic dark. I don't know. I don't want to spoil it, but yeah.
I'm now terrified.
It is pretty terrifying, actually, but it's inspired by if somebody has watched. If people know where Little Timmy's from, they'll know what the history is from.
So we're not making this better.
So hearing about this story is making you feel a little mousy, is it?
Yeah. So yeah, look, this is Mouse Guard's like my favorite system to run. I really like pulling.
I like that everyone can help with everything. Like you always feel like you're a part of it if you want to be, unless you don't want to be.
I really love that you can refuse help. That was my favorite thing.
This is kind of great.
That's good. And you guys survived your first conflict without like wanting to like quit the game. So that's cool.
We did pretty good.
It gets easier over time. But yeah, this is great. I'm really, really happy with how tonight went. I have no idea how I'm going to follow it up yet.
I'm sure you will find a way.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, why don't we do our official wrap up? Why don't we go around, give you guys a chance to say who you are, where we can find you online, and tell us what your favorite part about today's show was. Or I mean, we've already done all the MVP things, so we'll go around for the favorite part, and we'll start, of course, with our wonderful Maestro, Eric Vulgaris. Oh hi.
Hey. A Scrat.
I'm glad that you changed it to Maestro.
I know. First off, that's amazing, right? Second of all, yeah. God, that was so awesome. I'm so happy to be back running Mouse Guard. It is my game. I think as far as the hundreds and hundreds of games that I've played, is my favorite game to run. I feel very comfortable with it. Yeah, I'm Eric Vulgaris everywhere. I work for Roll20. I'm their data analyst and business analyst. I'm also a streamer, graphic artist, and all of that stuff. I'm just a big fan of role-playing games. And seriously, chat, I remember I don't remember who it was, but that hero in chat deserves Persona for giving the reroll and saving.
Yes.
Shout out to you.
That was Kelly Lane.
I got better soup because of you.
Yeah,
she went to bed a while back, but she always comes back to watch the vid, so I'm sure she'll appreciate that shout out.
Absolutely. You're heroes alongside our mouse tonight. So thank you.
Yeah, okay. Anything else from you, Eric?
No. You can just follow me on Twitter. Tell me about your favorite games that you're playing. I want to hear about your games. I love games so much. I want them to hear about your games.
Cool. Thank you so much. Well, next round we have Maggie or Margaret Crone. Oh hi.
Oh hi. I was gonna pick that as my favorite moment too, because you helped me make soup. I think, oh gosh, I probably have to pick the crab scene because it was just too funny. We're all just like doing the crowd dance. I want a gif of all of us looking like idiots. But I love that we solved the thing about Mouse Guard and like generally any like game that revolves around animals is you always solve problems in such different, clever ways that are like not always just combat or RPing or talking and like diplomacy. So I think like that's always really fun to see that. And you guys can find me at Margaret Crone in all of the places. My day job is working for NC Software. I manage all their video and media content. So if you like any of their games, enjoy. And I put out new gameplay videos every single day on Margaret Crone Plays. And I stream every single day except for Fridays, different types of tabletop and games and all kinds of jazz. I'm in like 7 to 8 campaigns a week. So if you want more tabletop things from Buffy to Mouse Guard, hey, come check it out.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Next around, we have Animus Panthera or Aris. Oh, hi, Aris.
Hello. So I'm Aris or Animus Panthera. I'm Animus Panthera pretty much anywhere if you'd like to find me. It's so hard to pick a favorite part of this game. There was so many things that happened that were just like great. Although I have to say I really loved Scrat, your dedication to being the grumpy old man. It was just against everything. Every single time it came up, it was delightful. Yeah. That's all I got.
That's all you got? Fair enough. Well, I've put your Twitter link in the chat. I've been posting all of your stuffs. So next around we have the wonderful Alicia. Oh, hi, Alicia.
Oh, hi! I had a great time tonight. Energy Night on Twitch. I live stream video games and swear a whole bunch. 9-8 on Twitter. I'm involved in a couple different streams. There's the Friday night stream at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on T-Furton's 80 channel, the Saturday game at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on Tosco's channel, third game on T-Furton's 80s channel at 2 p.m. Sunday time. Different games for some. One of them's Legends of the West, two of them are D&D 5th edition. I also do puns, as demonstrated. And my favorite part of the session, I'm pretty torn between Crabs and me and Scrat refusing to take each other's dice.
That's my favorite. That's what I was going to say. My favorite is just like trying to help and being like, no, I don't want your help.
our anti-instructor stance, like, no, get out of here.
Aren't you both kind of instructors in some way?
Yes, which is why we don't get along.
That's hilarious.
That's my biggest skill.
It's like the geography teacher and like the historian trying to like argue about like where something happened.
Either that or they're arguing about completely unrelated topics.
Except for this time they're
Well, that just leaves me, I believe, you guys. First of all, here's my social links. Like I say, my favorite part was the banter between me and, the in-character banter between me and Alicia. That was good fun. There's my Discord. It's inclusive. It's family feel. It's great. Also, for our regular games where we use Wild Magic Surges, you can go and add to the Wild Magic Surge table in there. On Twitter, if you send me a DM, I will get you a game in one of our free viewer games during the week. They run Wednesdays 1 p.m. and 6 p.m. and Thursdays 1 p.m. The DMs are Kiana, me, and Alice, respectively. And YouTube, I'm figuring out this whole YouTube thing. Apparently, I can upload things to YouTube directly from Twitch without having to download and re-upload it. So I'm learning that. Here is my Patreon, where you guys can support me should you choose to do so, as we now are a full-time Twitch streaming service. So support is very much appreciated. This is the first day. It's been an amazing first day. We also have a merch site where you guys can get the logo on your top or like certain things from last season. I know there's a Dave the Divine t-shirt that sold a couple of things over there. If you watched Wizards and Waters from last season, that's back tomorrow. What else do I have? I'm giving away some rainbow colored dice at the moment. I'll hold them up to the camera. But Alice's picture in the tweet does them much more service than I do. You should check that out. Go and retweet it. It's a Gleam competition. We've all done those by now. They're good fun. And the tweet is all done. However, I will be tweeting again in a moment about like how well this first day's gone. So yeah. I totally haven't prepared as I normally have, but our at the moment, we are starting to stream full time, as I mentioned. We will be streaming Monday to Thursday at 1 p.m., 6 p.m., and 10 p.m. EST. And on Fridays at 1 p.m. EST, but over on the Greyhawk channel. And on Fridays at 8 p.m. every alternating week, starting this week, we'll be doing Lady Blackbird with Kiana S. Yeah, Kiana's doing a massive effort with that, where we're doing half here, half off the table, who I'll also give a shout out to.
Off the table's great.
Yeah, it's so underrated as well. So underrated. So yeah, that's what that is. You guys should totally check out Off the Table. Like I say, we're sharing a thing there. We've got 8 players across 2 campaigns. We're going to be swapping and changing characters between the 2 crews, as one of us are playing Rebels and the other are playing Imperials. And
awesome.
At the end, there's going to be a big finale where we're all in it together.
Yeah.
So
That's
yeah,
sick. I've always wanted to do one of those.
it's gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So today I'm taking us across to Metamancer's channel. Metamancer is doing. I know, right? She's doing some roleplay at the moment. She's playing some GTA 5 on a roleplay server, and it should be a ton of fun over there. It's always a ton of fun over with Metamancer. So thank you very much, you guys. Thank you all for being here on my first day as a full-time streamer. And
yeah, on your first day.
Yay!
Yay!
First day.
Keep evoking emotions. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Toodaloo.